Party people in the place to be, live from 58 Dream Street. We're James in the games. And it's time to try it again. Star Control 2. We hit the failure state. Came to an end in episode 10. The galaxy was cleansed. We did not liberate the galaxy from the Urquan. But we learned a lot. I hope. And so, let's see what we can do this time. Waffle syrup in the house. Glad you're here. Glad to have you. Always a pleasure. Let me just... Now that my adventure is in this thing constantly changing its mind about what the volume numbers mean, continue. So we want to make sure that we get this right. But first, let's set the scene. It's Earth year 2159. At the edge of the known galaxy, that precursor starship, the ancient artifact of technology, the returner, the flagship of the United Federation of Free Stars, sits out of fuel at the edge of the known galaxy. As the Core Predator bears down on it, ready to cut it apart with saw blades or maybe pull in really close and do the bullet hell fireball move, Captain James stands on the bridge with his ensign. Ensign, he says. The ensign says, "Sir?" And he says, "If we'd only known sooner about Admiral Zex, if we had only found that specimen that he was seeking sooner, we would have had the Shafixti Maidens. We could have initiated the Yehat Civil War, and if that was successful, we would have saved the Pkunk. Is that right, Ensign?" Ensign says, "Yes, sir." Captain James says, "If only we had sought the alliance with the Spathi sooner, and then been betrayed by them sooner, we would have had their parting gift, the communication device. And if we had that device, perhaps we could have reached out to the Unga and proposed an interesting prank, and they may have shared with us their knowledge of how to manipulate the Ilrith, giving us a erstwhile ally in the fight against the Urquan. Is that right, Ensign?" The ensign thinks a moment and he says, "Yes, Captain. I believe that sounds correct." There's so much we could have done, Ensign, if only we had known sooner. "That's true, Captain," says the ensign. "But there's very little we can do now, isn't there?" And Captain James says, "I believe you're right, Ensign. But we fight to the end. Prepare the photon torpedoes." And the Predator draws in, and it opens fire. And as the precursor vessel, the flagship, Returner, is torn to shreds, dying a lonely death at the end of the galaxy, Captain James's last words are, "I've got to go back." Is Earth year 2150, and a 14-year-old James Ross, not yet a captain, awakens in his home on the planet Vela, where he has lived. For though he is technically a human, he is not an Earthling. He has never touched the ground on Earth. He was born on Vela, raised here by the survivors of an ill-fated mission that crashed and became stranded during the first war against the Urquan. And he awakes with a start. And he runs downstairs. And he tries to explain to his parents that we need to get the precursor ship going. We need to return to Earth now. Every moment that we don't brings us that much closer to the cleansing of the galaxy. But let's give the soon-to-be Captain James's parents a break for the fact that they're not convinced by their 14-year-old son that he can see the future, that he knows what's to come. And so, for 4 years, James just suffers with the knowledge of what's to come, but the inability to do anything yet. But then one day, shortly after his 18th birthday, we begin. All right. Turning it down to 4,000 cycles. I am very confident that with a few clicks, I could just set it to default launch at 4,000 cycles. But here we are. We're going to have to tweak the volume a little bit as we get back into this. And we're going to do what we can here to hit the ground running, which I will apologize in advance is probably going to involve a few instances here of me saying, all right, hang on, and staring at a spreadsheet while looking at the available star systems and trying to plot an optimal resource gathering route. But to whatever extent I can, I'll avoid that. Let's see what we can do. Let's start a new game. Across infinite timelines, as Jorge Luis Borges brilliantly depicted in the short story that I borrowed for the title of this episode, The Garden of Forking Paths. If you haven't read it, I couldn't more strongly recommend that you check it out. Across infinite universes, infinite timelines, everything happens. And so, who's to say that we're not about to save the galaxy? The flagship returner returns to Earth. How's the volume, folks? Let me know if there are any objections, either too low, too high. Seems plenty adequate to me, but I'm not listening to the stream. I'm listening to the audio coming out of my tiny little PC speakers right here. Alright, that's one vote for it's good. Hey, someone's coming to meet us. Whoa, a recorded message from the Urquan. I'm actually going to tweak a little bit more. It's actually quite loud for me. I'm going to turn it down for myself and then compensate for you folks. There we go. Yeah, I'm full of surprises, buddy. I'm super independent. Well, I got bad news for you. You're not even getting subservience from your own working class, the Core A. You know, if this was a conversation, I could let you know that you got bigger problems than some rogue humanoids. Okay. Well, to the Earth doesn't make much sense because, as we know, the Earth is under a slave shield. So it's going to take some getting used to how crummy the returner is right now. Extraordinarily slow. Commander Hayes, I'll try to remember your name this time, sir. Alright. Situation's critical, but we're gonna go out dancing. They're in there, they got the strobes going, multicolored strobes. Wait for the drop, baby. Why the resupply vessel? Commander, we don't have time for this shit. Okay, no. Let's break it down. Starship what? Starship Returner, sir. Oh, yeah, you got a situation? Oh, so folks, anyone in the audience who hasn't noticed, I mean, it's right there, subscribe button. So check it out. I'm an affiliate now, or we, at 58 Dream Street. Hold on. I am kind of the main character, right? We're affiliates now, and so you can subscribe. However, a caveat. Right now, I have nothing to offer you if you subscribe except my gratitude and a Founder's Badge. There's 5 more Founder's Badges, as I understand it. So, hey, if that appeals to you, go for it. There'll be other things down the line. But I need time. Well, yes, Waffles here. I know there's many things I could do. I gotta learn what they are and how to do them. So, and I can't prioritize that right now. This, even if we take off and we have all kinds of subscribers, my primary source of revenue will continue to be my job. And that's taking up a lot of time right now because I have an added title. I'm not merely an instructor anymore. I'm an amateur epidemiologist and public health decision maker. Because why should our actual highly paid decision makers need to make decisions anymore? Just offloaded onto the frontline people. So I got to figure out how we're going to manage this return to in-person learning when all of my classes would violate the gathering restrictions if they hadn't just put an asterisk on the gathering restrictions that said, don't worry, Omicron doesn't spread in a classroom because we need international students to live here and spend money here. Oh wait, no, that part doesn't actually appear in the rules. Sorry if I sound cynical, but it's not that cynical if it's obviously true, right? All right, here we go. I'll find the elements you require. Listen, buddy. You're not sure of that. And I'm going to let it slide, but when you think about it, it's a very deceptive thing of Commander Hayes to say to someone who has just showed up and offered to save the lives of him and all his crew, and then ultimately the population of Earth, since as far as he knows, the population of Earth will be exterminated if the starbase dies and the Urquan return. No. So here we go to the planet Mercury to fetch us some radioactives. Oh my goodness. I had forgotten what it was like to be level 1, so to speak, with the returner. 10 fuel, a crew of 50, a maximum top speed that is actually measured in kilometers per hour. Oh, what do you know? There's radioactives here on the planet Mercury. Let's dispatch an extraordinarily vulnerable planetary lander that cannot defend itself against anything. Elements, tectonics, creatures, temperature. And it is pretty hot on Mercury, but oddly enough, not as hot as you would assume it would be. Oh, also, the planetary landers are very slow. I forgot that speed was one of the upgrades, actually. Oh well. Gotta start somewhere. Okay, let's get off of this planet. I've never learned what the key is for abandoning things. Gotta remind myself about my weird hybrid controller scheme here. Because I just, I don't put in the work, I guess. I mean, I do. Just at my job. In between streams. I'm not here. You know what? I did learn a couple DOSBox things today, but they're not relevant to Star Control. But after beating Wizardry, I did finally win at Wizardry, which is cool. Are we just full on cargo now? No, we got tons of free space. No reason not to hit the ground running here. Let's go down again. We'll grab the precious. And then we'll grab all this, base metal junk, because why not? We're here. Oh no! That was really ill-fated. Okay, get out of there, get out of there. Alright. Real shame about those 11 crew members. I do not feel great about that, but here's the thing. It's early going. We don't have the same capacity to protect our crew. And in the long run, I suspect I'm going to be a lot more preservationist towards the crew than I might have been able to achieve in the past. So that's good. Yeah, so I beat Wizardry. For anyone who's been tuning in and just listening to me talk about things that I don't stream, I did finally beat Wizardry. Slew Weirdna, all that good stuff. Got the little note on my character's status screens that say, "Hey, I'm a champion who fulfilled the quest of the Mad Overlord." So then today, I subsequently learned that what am I wanting to say here? What the hell kind of ship is this, Commander? It's the ship of your dreams. Who am I? I'm the Prophet, Captain James, of the Starship Returner. British! British, now that you're here, I'm going to say this really quickly. If I do this for years, and you're here and you're hanging out, and you know, in the chat, viewing, hanging out, having fun, and you never spend a dime on anything ever again, never give me any bits, whatever, never subscribe, don't care. The only time I'm ever going to pitch you on possibly subscribing is actually right now, because I would love to see you have that one of those founders badges. So think about it. It's not the end of the world. I don't need the money, but I would love to see you with that badge. I suppose I know there's a system for gifting subs, so I could also do that, except that I don't know how to do it yet. All right. I need you to explain a few things. No, I don't. I could explain a few things to you, Commander. Don't worry about it. No. Well, I don't know. I don't know how fast those other 5 will go, but it's certainly no rush. I suspect it's not a rush, because I'm not offering anything except founders badges yet. So the only reason the founders badges are even going, Waffle Syrup grabbed one, which is great, because that's what I would like the founders badges to go to. People who are down from day one. And then the other 4 are all either people I know or actual Dream Street crew members just subscribing with their Prime, which is great. I mean, if we have Prime and we're not going to be subscribing to anything else, yeah, we're here to fight, Commander. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Fight the Arquan, win our freedom. Yes, 4 out of 5 founders badges. 2 of them go to friends of mine who, one of them, I mean, Koodles comes here and checks in. You don't need Prime, British, but that is one. If you do have Prime, you get the sub for free. But don't worry about it. Literally no pressure. I just thought I'd toss that thought out there. So yeah, of our 4 non-Waffle Syrup founders right now, Koodles is a friend of mine who does tune in sometimes. So at least he's here sometimes. Another one is a friend of mine who, as far as I know, created a Twitch account just to be supportive and follow me, and then has subscribed, but I don't think he's ever watched, or if he has, he didn't tell me. And then the other 2 are Robert and Lauren. So, people who play Forgotten Circles on Fridays sometimes. I was actually really impressed that Robert did it. If you ever tune into Friday Night Forgotten Circles, you know that he had a baby in October, and I've scarcely heard from him since, and don't know when I'll ever see him again. Oh, Commander, you don't know anything about the consequences if we fail. It's not about Earthlings. It's about all sentient life. The stakes are higher than you know, sir. Just, seen that meme going around lately? I mean, he technically is. I and I alone believe that he will play again. What I do not believe anymore is that he's going to give me the $25 he agreed he would give me for the Forgotten Circles Kickstarter. I mean, the Frosthaven Kickstarter. That's never going to happen. Even though he's far more affluent than I am. Alright, here we go. We'll neutralize the base. Be careful. Dozens. Oh, wow. Well, jeez. Yeah, why could that be, Commander? Occam's razor. Hey, sweetheart. Oh, it's beautiful to see this little one. Oops, I'm going to the moon. Ah! My goodness. Now, while ultimately it was very important to get the mission started, so I think that Captain James made the right choice leaving in 2155. There's also, it seems like to me to be a case to wait a few more months and try to figure out how to get that Veyland factory running and create some more turning thrusters. Yeah, Fwiffo is just so wonderful. We're not fast skipping his dialogue or anything. I love Fwiffo. I love everything he has to say to me. Alright, we've got lots of okay minerals, which I suppose we might as well grab while we're down there. There's the base, and there's all the moon people, which I guess we'll leave for now, but I should make a mental note that I can quickly harvest biosamples from the moon. In fact, I don't need the minerals right now either. Oops. Let's just get down there, get the base, get this done with, get this show on the road. But yeah, we'll be seeing Fwiffo very soon, and we will love him as we always do. And this time around, earlier on, we'll be able to get other eluders so that I can lose an eluder in a battle if it comes to that without being like, we gotta load. Yeah, so I beat Wizardry and then today learned how to configure DOSBox to show the correct CGA palette for Wizardry so the enemy portraits don't look hideous with that cyan and magenta 4-color CGA palette. Switch it to it's like red and dark green and some other 2 colors. Looks way better. I'm done with the game. I'm not going to play the second 2. But I'll probably play Wizardry 5. And I'm going to check out Wizardry 4 just because it sounds fascinating if infuriating. Oh, it's been abandoned. What do you say? What a report. Sorry if I seem like I'm just skimming here. For anyone who's new to the story here, this base has been abandoned and just set up with drones to make it look like there's still activity. Who are they trying to trick? The Earthlings? The Urquan? Everybody? We'll learn more, I'm sure. Alright. Get out of there. Farewell, Luna. Oh my goodness. Alright. Give me 5 minutes here and we'll turn around. There we go. And slowly drift back to the starbase. Have I dealt with the base yet? More than once, Commander, if you can believe that. I think if I was the commander of a starbase under these circumstances and found out that for years I had been tricked into believing I was still being supervised, I might use even stronger language than darned. But I guess the commander seems like a pretty clean-cut fellow. Uh-oh. Yeah, it is fascinating, isn't it? Herbal Crusader in the house. Good to see you. Cousin, how are the Avengers treating you? Uh-oh. Is this cat making random "Hey, I'm Abra" noises, or is she in the bathtub asking for a drink? Hang tight 1 second, team. While the Ilreth tells a story. No, she was in her kitchen doing her thing that I'm pretty sure means... My hypothesis about Abra's thing where she goes in a kitchen and just yells is that I've lived in 2 apartments that had mice. In both cases, they were in the kitchen and largely behind the stove area. So I think that she just assumes that's where mice always live. And because also she's so divorced from being able to connect her instincts to their purpose, because even when she's caught mice, she's never tried to eat them or kill them. She just carries them around until she gets bored. I think she's just like, hey mice, want to come chase? Even though there's no mice there. She just thinks there must be. Alright, so yeah, where'd you come from, buddy? That... Now that I know the Pkunk, I find this all the more distasteful. One thing I think is worth praising here is that, obviously, we spent a lot of time in the previous 10 episodes talking about the tonal balancing act, where a lot of the dialogue is like silly or quirky, and the characterizations can be the same, even though but the story is serious, both in the sense that it's like a dark story, but also it's serious in the sense that it's thought out carefully. It's telling a real story. But then, like, if we talk to the Urquan or we talk to the Ilrith or whatever, their dialogue's not silly. It's also tonally appropriate. Like, the Ilrith sound cool, even though, I mean, it's not actually cool to worship evil gods and live to destroy. Yeah, come on, Rugash. Man, it's almost like Captain Rugash should not have told me in advance all the weaknesses of his ship and then attacked me when he wasn't at full strength. I am sure, Commander, that in the Battle of Draco there were more impressive kills against not already disabled ships that involved maneuvering. We didn't even turn the thrusters on Captain Solo's ship. Shouldn't I be Admiral James since I'm in charge of the whole fleet? We can discuss my title later, Commander. It's not priority. I've just had more years than you'd think to consider these things, Commander. What then? Yeah. This is what we're gonna do. Except, just put a strike through that slowly. We don't got time to be slow. We got 4 years. I agree, Commander. I appreciate that. Okay, what are we gonna name it? I really do wish that it let you pick. But we're the United Federation of Worlds, once again. If it let you pick, I would not call the ship the Returner, and I would call our alliance the Returners. I'm a big fan of Final Fantasy VI. But... of the choices you get, I think I like the United Federation of Worlds the most. Like the new Alliance of Free Stars, I understand the nostalgia connection, but the Alliance of Free Stars failed. We should try to get away from that energy. Hey, that is good news, Commander. It's real good news. I appreciate that, Commander. Escape from a difficult situation by literally pressing the escape key. Alright. Shaping up. Refining things. Building ships. Training new crew members for me to send to their doom in pursuit of minerals. I am eager to get... This is not brief, Commander. I question your definitions here. Your choice of adjectives. Alright. Want some minerals? Because I got them. Alright, this one's not going to be as exciting as they'll eventually get. But, got some corrosives, some sulfur there, some base metals, some precious, and some radioactives. Yep, that makes sense, Commander. Makes a lot of sense. Okay. I don't need any background information, Commander. I even know foreground information, so to speak. Oh, speaking of the Garden of Forking Paths and the infinite timelines, I'm getting awful close to finding out if I'm in the timeline where my career works out, or if I'm in the timeline where I gotta figure myself out from scratch in my late 30s. And, you know, knock on wood, throw some, I don't have any salt, but imagine I was throwing it over my shoulder 'cause don't want to jinx anything. I feel like I might be in the good timeline, which is cool. Okay, what do we got to do right now? We got to crew back up more than anything. Okay, very good. And another Earth cruiser is probably not a bad idea, so let's grab it. And let's assign a crew to that one too. Very nice. Let's fuel up. Believe. There's no believing. No need to believe. Maximum fuel is 60. That information is on screen. And let's add... Well, we can have a fusion thruster or a turning jet. Okay, if I give back 1 unit of fuel. Okay, we can have both. We can't have both and a full tank of gas. But I think we'll if that 1 unit of fuel turns out to be what makes the difference, well, what can you do but laugh? Alright, get a fusion thruster on there, get a turning jet on there, and now we have a turning rate of 7, which I suspect is still very slow and cumbersome. But that's okay. You need a base to start building, right? Okay. Save game. Diligent pressing of the right key. I do not understand why the cursor doesn't start at the right. It just seems like you're way more likely to want to either add a different tag to the end or backspace and delete it and write something else than you are to want to add letters at the front. But I don't know. I'm not an acclaimed game designer whose game has been beloved for nearly 30 years now. So the fuck do I know? All right. Just like starting over. That song's on Double Fantasy, right? I'm pretty sure it is, which is sad. You didn't get much starting over when your fan murders you immediately after. Okay, so the main thing we want to do is get some stuff. So let me take a look around here. Okay. I don't think I was being as diligent in recording stuff as I should have been at the very start. That's okay. Let's start by, I don't believe we have any need to wait for the commander to tell us about the presence of Fwiffo, and also, we might as well, yeah, we're going for Fwiffo, for sure, but we might as well on the way, I know Venus is not a friendly place to land, but I think Mars is fine, so we might as well strip mine the solar system, baby. Here we go. Nice and cold down on Mars. Yeah, I need base metals. I wasn't really expecting anything so great. No Martians in this particular universe. Let's go. I had a really great Borges collection. Jumping back to the Garden of Forking Paths. But I lost it in a move at some point. So I really ought to order a new one, because Borges wrote a lot of short stories, and they're all great. Actually, they might not all be great. I haven't read them all. But if you like weird metafiction, stories about the telling of stories, I don't know that it gets much more compelling than Jorge Luis Borges. Okay, good. Wait, except this is... Oh, goodness. I ought to know the order of the planets. And alright, there are moons. I knew that we were dealing with Jupiter and then Saturn, which are obviously both gas giants. I suppose a more, Star Control 2 made with different technology. Oh, that sounds fun, British. I'm very fortunate. Oh, thanks for nothing, Callisto. I'm very fortunate that because I'm DMing right now, and one of the players in the game that I'm DMing keeps a log like that, everything that's happened to us. It's extremely helpful because I should not have volunteered to DM. I clearly don't have time to be doing this shit right now. So if I don't have to remember what we did last time, it really helps. Just some common junk. No energy. Nothing lives on Ganymede. This time, when we finish searching the Sol system, I will make some quick notes to myself. Throwing down a scan. Well, those are clearly corrosives, but we might as well grab them. Don't you hate it when you find something good, British, and then you lose track of it? Especially because, the internet today, it's why can't the algorithms tell that I particularly like this thing, and therefore just make sure it's in my recommendations from now on? That's a really good idea, British. Usually my DMing is more narrative. I try to actually come up with a situation and characters and stuff. This time, inspired by a mix of the fact that I've been playing Wizardry and the fact that I don't have time, I'm doing a pure dungeon crawl. So normally, if I was if I was really telling a story here, and then I would be inclined to my style is once I'm set up, I like to go, when last we left our heroes, and then do the recap myself. But now, this is exactly it. I had David read us the recap whilst more corrosives here on EO. Tectonics aren't great either, so I'll be ready on the abandon button because don't want anyone dying. Radium! Never mind! Sorry, folks. You're not getting out of there if the tremors get bad. I am willing to sacrifice each and every one of you for all this francium. Is there any Californium down there? That's very true, British, because maybe one of the hardest things when you're starting out as a DM, or maybe even when you've DM'd a lot for a long time, one of the hardest things to get through your head and then to take your DMing to the next level, or your GMing if you're not playing Dungeons and Dragons, if you're playing any other RPG, your keepering if you're playing Call of Cthulhu. I think one of the hardest things is recognizing that you're not actually telling your friends a story, even if it's a narrative campaign. You are laying it out and letting them go. And if you keep on trying to get them to just concentrate on what you thought was important, or go down the route you wanted to, even though you're trying to give them the impression that they have other options, then you're working against everybody having a good time. And when you realize, oh yeah, this is what they thought was important. Let's make that actually matter. I did a pretty good job of that, I thought, in my most recent Call of Cthulhu running. There was one thing I hung on to because I had decided, the answer to the mystery. I didn't want to change that. But the route they took was so far away from what I was expecting them to do. And as a result, like, the way the narrative for this investigation was set up, you would expect Jonathan Games. Oh, you want me to buy followers? Well, listen. Say the same thing I say to every bot that offers me that. Give me some free followers. Give me 50. Give me 50 free followers right now. I'll go over to my stream manager in a second, see if you make good. And once I know you got them, we can talk. But I honestly don't even understand why the bots don't do that. I guess it's somewhat more setup work. You need a bunch of devices to have one bot show up and say, hey, we just gave you 50 followers, buy more. But that'd be a much better sales pitch, so far as I can tell. I don't know. Like, are you even gonna follow me? Jonathan Gomez R? I doubt it. Wonder what Jonathan Gomez R is out there streaming. Ah, Uranus. No moons. Not at all safe to land on. We're making our way. Next up, Neptune. Or as they call it on Mount Olympus, Poseidon. And yet, Hades is right here. So why don't we get this part done? What might we find on this erstwhile planet? Hey, Squeaky. 10 minutes. Her sense of time is pretty sharp at this point. Her appetite's back. She knows when it's almost LUNCH time. Which is great, because I kept on forgetting. Okay. Let's slurp those exotics. Five. Alright. 125 resource units. Not so bad for those Zoe crystals. Oh no! Mayday! Mayday! There's one thing. The game doesn't allow me to use my knowledge to save the lives of those 8 crew members. Instead, I'm actually knowingly sending them to get killed. Pour one out for Kowalski, one for Fritz, one for Chin, one for O'Donnell, one for Luigi, and then make a triple and pour it out for the Liebermans. Alright. Oh yeah, here we go. It's our guy. Captain, I don't even see why you would think I'm in an obvious attack posture when I sent down a planetary lander. Thank you, Fwiffo. I'm gonna let it slide. I mean, if anything, the crime is more mine now than yours. I knew it was gonna happen, I let it happen. Okay, now we go. Bit by bit. Look at her with her shaved back. You see her there in the corner? She's still just as beautiful to me. That's right. And it's wild how quickly her scar is gone. Like, her incision was once very recently a big old nasty looking thing, and now it's just like this tiny little white line. One unfortunate thing is because, I got to keep an eye out for the return of this sarcoma, because very decent chance I didn't get it all. Got to take Fwiffo put him through the paces, get the information we can. Well, we weren't dominating it, Fwiffo, or they weren't. The whole idea of being free is not being dominated. Proving that we're free by having all of the cargo ship captains take their cargo ships to the Alliance capital and honk their horns until the democratically elected leader of the Alliance resigns. Little political commentary there, folks. I'll say that I am a fan of truckers in the sense that they play a vital role in our logistics system, and we're all very lucky that they do it. Just like we're lucky that all the people in the world play their roles, because that's how society works. Not a huge supporter of the convoy converging on our nation's capital to, I guess, do donuts on the Prime Minister's lawn until until he flips the switch that says COVID exists and it just stops. The facts don't. I'm getting really political right now, but the facts don't care about your feelings, crowd. It's been awfully upset that a virus won't disappear on the schedule that they would prefer. I want things to be normal again. I'm sick of all these snowflakes saying things are what they're actually like. Yeah, facts don't care about your feelings, pal. It's a pandemic. What you doing here, Fwiffo? Let me check. Did I just alienate the entire viewership? All my... Nope. Okay, great. Folks are still tuned in. Confirmed. The 58 Dream Street audience doesn't overlap strongly with the small contingent. Also, it's not all truckers, right? Hashtag not all truckers. My goodness. From either direction, I haven't seen that many people saying like friggin' truckers, like all truckers, as though every trucker is participating in this activity. But I have seen the opposite of saying like, anyone who doesn't agree with the goals of this protest, therefore doesn't think the work that truckers do is important. It's like, no, their work's pretty important. They're not at work right now. Taking the day off, the week off, to go honk their horns. Yes, the sacred principle, Waffle Syrup, that living in a society should never confer any obligations on a person. It's the mark of an intellectually serious person who deeply believes in freedom. Right? Right. Real soon, sweetheart, what we're going to do is, instead of worrying about the precise time, Abra, we are going to we're going to wait till Fwiffo finishes his current speech. And we'll take a tiny little intermission here. Love the music in this game. Yeah, Ganymede. It's a nice place. Yeah, I mean, think about Titan. There's nothing there but common elements. So what about the Ilrith? Oh, wait, no, the thing that I just said, and she obviously knows. Fwiffo, the dialogue finished. I'll be right back, folks. Intermission. And we're back. Alright. Just gotta keep an ear peeled. Been some occasional hissing fits recently when they spend too much time close to each other. It's funny because they'll do that and then like 10 minutes later they're like, here, let's lick each other's foreheads. I guess I remember this stuck with me for many years that when I only had them for like a year, my girlfriend at the time's friend asked us, like, what's their relationship like? And I described it like, you know, half the time they just want to be like together. They want to go and look at things together, do everything together, cuddle together. And then the other half of the time they're just like hissing at each other randomly and they're mad. She said, oh, so they're like sisters. Yes, they're sisters, for sure. No doubt about that. Wouldn't surprise me, Fwiffo. You think they're coming home? Tell me all about that bass. Not that I haven't both heard you tell me before and also could have figured out the gimmick all on my own, like a detective. I've solved Ultima 5 with no walkthrough, sir. I can figure out when droids have been set up to make a base seem like it's active. Diving back into Britannia tomorrow, so I'm excited about that. It's funny, when I started collecting Ultima games after finding out that Underworld was going to be delisted from GOG and was therefore on sale, and I thought, I've always heard good things about that, and then while I was there I was like, maybe it's time to try again, and that set me on this path, and here we are now. I started with Ultima 4 because I knew that the Ultima 1 and Ultima 2 weren't quite going to do it for me, and I knew that Ultima 4 was the one where the character creation system that I love comes into play, and we get the the focus on virtue that I associate Ultima with and all that stuff. So I started with 4 thinking not only this is where Ultima really takes form, but also I thought what I'm really excited about is finally playing Ultima 6. It's not conscious, British. Not at all. So, yeah. I thought I was just building up to, I was like, I'll lay the groundwork to finally get to revisit Ultima 6 that fascinated me when I was young. And now, by the time I got there, I was not expecting Ultima 5 to take me 100 hours and be one of my favorite games that I ever played. So, I am having a great time already with Ultima 6. I can tell I'm going to love it. But at the same time, there's a part of me that is yes, I think I remember being told how the Moonstone works, but I probably won't mind a reminder tomorrow. Love that the ultimate evil, spoiler alert, turns out to be like a sedentary teddy bear species that are not aggressive. Alright, now we start getting serious. Let's talk about your feelings, Fwiffo. Are you happy with the way things... Do you know where you're going to? Do you like the things life is showing you? Fwiffo, you have no idea how compelled I will feel to protect you from danger and certain death. Is there art available that would show me what a Spathi looks like in toto? Beyond the eye stalk and the claws? I know I can just do a Google search. In fact, literally, I can just do a Google search for that right now. Oh, right. Geez, the Spathi Council. Of course. I'd seen them. Yes, there's lots. There's very little more to the design than what we can see here. Alright. Yeah, see how that happened. You must be lonely, scared, bored. I imagine the Spathi don't feel a lot of boredom just because they're so anxious all the time. Do the Spathi have undiagnosed ADHD? I feel like there's so much more that I could share with Fwiffo that could help him beyond just the dialogue options here. You don't need to always be thinking of all possible bad outcomes, Fwiffo. I swear to you. Boop, ba-dee-bee-dee-boo-doo. Alright. I think at this point we should have exhausted enough to get him on. Yep. Here we go. Again, you got no idea, buddy. Oh, I have my way of dealing with other Spathi, Fwiffo. I say, if you just leave, I won't tell Yerkwan you ran. And then the problem is solved. It's hard to imagine a situation where, in this game, you could be forced into combat with an eluder. Like, you gotta really want to fight an eluder. You really need, like, man, I would love to dodge some butt missiles. If you don't feel that way, it's never gonna come up. These are not an aggressive folk. That's why their main attack vessels are called eluders. Well, not literally aboard, Fwiffo. You still need to pilot your own ship. But yes, I see what you're saying, buddy. Alright. Let's... I mean, we might as well crew up again. So take back what we were able to strip mine from the vanilla solar system. Oh wait, Neptune. Let's hit Neptune. Across infinite timelines, I wonder if there's a place where the Greek Orthodox Church has taken over the world, and we've renamed all the planets so that it's like Hermes and Aphrodite and Ares, so on. Triton's got a bunch of base metals. Alright, safe enough. We might as well. Doesn't take that much fuel. We land. So besides becoming affiliates, the plan to... we're going to get some custom emotes. It probably won't surprise anybody if you've seen my starting soon screens or you've ever turned into Friday Night Forgotten Circles and seen the pixel art avatars of the various cast members. Or I suppose if you just look right above me, I have material for some obvious custom emotes for this channel. I think wave 1 right now. Okay, we have 6. Okay, Waffle Syrup I know with 5 really, but we have 6 Forgotten Circles players, and I have the art complete for 5 of them, and I'm working on Danielle, and it's starting to slowly come together. I just both don't have a ton of time to put into it, and am not really a very talented artist. It's okay, I'm not ashamed. In fact, I'm proud. You did. Well, that's the next thing I was going to say. Wave 1, just the 6 heads. Just making their default facial expression. Then, because I am the main guy here, then I think it's time for some variations. I'll try to capture the different kinds of emotions you express with emojis on the face of my little pixel guy. That'll be fun. Just like Van Gogh, doing self-portrait after self-portrait. Well, haven't been much battling, Commander, but we have a very small amount of resources to offload for you. Boom, boom, ba-doom, ba-doom. Oh, right. All the radioactives. Yeah, thank you. I felt like it wasn't bad. Alright. So, obviously, step 1. Let's replace the crew that Fwiffo killed and assign Fwiffo his own crew. Alright, I learned that I can hold enter instead of repeatedly tapping it. Other things on the far horizon, really, since I'm both knee-deep in Star Control 2 and just setting it with Ultima 6. But, oh, no, I don't need a 3rd Earth cruiser right now. There we go. Thank you for that emendation, cousin. I understand much more clearly what you meant. I was like, how does the emoji connect to the verb spends? But if it connects to the noun aliens, I get exactly what you're saying. Alright, let's fuel up. Dip, 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 dip. Yes, please. I have always depended on the kindness of others. Anybody. Please, somebody, explain to me how to live my life. Yeah, another thing that I'm slowly getting around to is trying to get the Gold Box companion app up and running, because nouns and adjectives that sound similar. So let's get some more turning jets, because I hate the way this thing turns right now. And let's get a fusion thruster up there. Bit by bit by bit. I think maybe just in case, maintaining a small supply of resource units, just in case, probably worth doing. So let's set out. This is our first real let's get some resources mission. And I mean, we got a bunch of things that we want to get moving all at once fairly quickly, including an alliance with the Spathi, which I suspect we can probably do pretty soon. Spathiwa, of course, is an Epsilon Gruis. So, let's go to the star map. I think we'll do that first. Spathi space, Ilrith space. We're not even thinking about the fact that we have Urquan space that is actually overlapping with Kor-Ah space, and we're just not even going to try to remember the horror of watching the Kor-Ah circle just cleanse the galaxy. It's ugly stuff. Okay, was Sirius worth doing? I didn't take detailed notes, but it's also just right here, so it's not going to take a ton of fuel to go check it out. So let's do that. I think that we don't have enough fuel to get to Spathiwa, do we? No, we do. We could just make... Where's Spathiwa again? Gruis. The Gruis stars are up here, right? Yeah. Probably do want to do a resource run. So maybe after we hit Sirius, we head down towards Pkunk space. So maybe we can meet our friends. I don't think that meeting them will accelerate the timeline at which they run to their doom at the hands of so on and so forth. But obviously, if we want to stop that, this ship needs to get upgraded quickly, because we're going to need to head to the one of the far edges of the galaxy to get that specimen for Admiral Vux, or Admiral Zex of the Vux, so that we can get the Shafixti Maidens, so that we can get the Shafixti repopulating, and... oh, right, there's only one planet, it only has corrosives. Because I did note, I put Planet 1, dangerous corrosives. I didn't note there's only one planet, which I should have. Okay, that's fine. It's not like we wasted a lot of fuel to get here. Okay, let me just check. Beta Wolf. Did I do Beta Wolf? I did. There's only one planet. There's nothing much there. Alpha Wolf. I just never went... I either never went to Alpha Wolf or I never wrote it down. Either way. Let's find out, and then we'll head towards the Pkunk. See if we can make contact. Obviously, we also want to go meet our buddy. Are we at the point where we could? Oh, yeah. We could go to Zeman, meet the Melnorme. We don't have any biosamples yet, but we can get some from the moon. So, there's a lot to do. And priorities are important, but ultimately the biggest first priority is just getting the ship better. In fact, that's what the commander would tell me. If I asked him for advice, he would say, spend up to a year just gathering resources. Hopefully we can cut down on that a bit. As Wibble would tell me if he were here. If you know what you're doing, you only need like an hour of Earth time to beat this game, apparently. And I assume that's less than a year of game time. Well, it must be. It took me 30 hours to get through the 4 years and then watch the world die. Watch the whole galaxy be cleansed by the core. Wait. No, this is too zoomed in. There's not going to be another... Pulled in on a gas giant because I was thinking there might be one more level of zoom. Might have some moons. But it does not. That's okay. I don't think there's any way to be fully kind to your own voice while doing a stream of this length, especially if you have just real low quality larynx and vocal cords like I apparently do. But I am in pretty fine voice today. In this, like I was warming up in the shower, I could get all the way up my range. My falsetto was strong. Not that I use the falsetto all that much in the stream. But it's a good throat loosening thing to go high. Alright. Tectonics aren't great. And those are probably corrosives because it's an iodine world. Alright. Sorry, Planet 3. Ensign, thrusters to full? They're at full, Captain. I keep telling you they're at full. Ensign, please. Put the thrusters to full. Maybe you wanna give me kisses sweet, but only for one night with no repeat. Maybe you'll run away and never call. Nah. I need to freshly warm up to try to sing Smokey. Can't even have warmed up an hour and a half ago. But I try. And hey, Lauren, windshield factor. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. It certainly falls short of being real. on a good day, I can get through the song. Part of the challenge is it's a hard song to sing for anybody, I'm sure. I second that emotion by Smokey Robinson. But also, I have to sing it higher than Smokey because the whole Smokey Robinson was a much better singer than me. Oh, come on. Smokey Robinson was, news. Just for anyone who didn't know, Smokey Robinson is a much better singer than me, not was. Is a much better singer than me. And so his falsetto goes much lower than mine in addition to going as high as he needed to go. So if I try to sing in the key that Smokey sings it in, when I get to the lower notes, I start cracking down into regular chest voice, and it sounds even worse than when I'm singing in falsetto. Yeah, no. Neither about Smokey, thank goodness. I mean, he is a very old man who's had a great life. So it wouldn't be eventually everyone has to die. Nonetheless, very glad that Smokey Robinson has not died. But also, as far as I'm aware, nothing has happened to his voice that makes him no longer a better singer than me. So, if I don't go higher than Smokey, I'm just cracking and popping. It's horrible. It is not a good sound. All right, sorry to the crew members who I just sacrificed for base metals on Alpha Wolf Planet 1. You know what? If we got to go around a third time, let me just turn to my captain's log here. If we got to go back a third time, we will not make the mistake of wasting any time with the Wolf star systems, the Wolf constellation. All planets, nothing much. Thanks for nothing, Alpha Wolf. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep going. David L, hello. I discovered not recently, but it doesn't usually happen the day of that someone follows me that I find the time to go over to their channel, see what they're up to. So when I finally did, and I found out you're like the preeminent expert Ultima streamer who's done them all, I was like, oh wow, I'm honored that you followed me. Thank you, and I'm glad that you liked the first episode. I am really enjoying. I'm enjoying being back there so much that even though I had Star Control 2 going and I'm enjoying it too much to give it up, I was like, all right, I guess we got to do two. We got to do two concurrents. All right. Let's head down towards our dear friends, the Pkunk. We'll stop at Gamma Centauri. Maybe we'll hit Alpha Centauri. Unfortunately, the keynotes that I made for myself last time with those star systems. Yeah, so I can't watch the ones that I haven't played yet. I want to be as blind as possible. But I've watched a fair bit of you playing Ultima 1, which I really appreciate because I don't know that I'm ever going to bother. So it's cool to see. In the fullness of time, I'll watch them all. Lately, I guess you've been doing... I see you're on there a lot doing Grand Theft Auto 5. Would it be surprising to anyone if I said I haven't played a Grand Theft Auto since they were top-down pixel games? Which is not to say... Oh, oops. Bumped my stupid crummy joystick on the bottom of my table while moving my knees. I just saw... This is how I stay in touch with the youth. I was on Kotaku, and I saw that apparently some major streamer is getting targeted harassment because he's doing too much GTA roleplay, and his fans have rebelled to the point that they're harassing him, but also someone who runs like a fan Twitter. Like, oh my goodness, folks, come on. Can we not just, if you don't like I bet there are tons of streamers doing things I'm not interested in watching. So I don't watch them. And my life is fine. Happy, even. Base metals. It's an iodine world, so those are just corrosives. Oh, and the tectonics are atrocious. We're not going down there. Not sending people to their death for some sodium chloride. And then I also noted Planet 1 has good stuff but is dangerous. So probably we're not going there either. But we'll see how truly dangerous it was. And at least this time, hopefully this will happen on a condensed enough timeline that once I've got the planetary lander all in good condition, I will head back this way and I will land safely. Let's see. It's a story with the moon. Yeah, so far with Ultima 6, like, I can tell I'm going to love it. And I love what I've played so far. But it's really interesting to go right from Ultima 5 to Ultima 6 because you both see how... It's really easy to see how Ultima 6 is like a giant leap forward for the genre that is incredibly important and influential. Yes, that's true, waffle syrup. I'm just saying that, in theory, it would be possible for me to remember in return later. Perhaps a loyal viewer will remember on my behalf. But let's look. It's ultraviolet. It's dangerous. It's not a temperature thing. It's just the tectonics. Treasure radioactives, but yeah. We can't send people to their deaths like that just yet. Especially because they'll die. Like, if the planetary lander blows up, also the expedition is to end. So, Alpha Centauri, Planet 3 has exotics, but is dangerous. I wasn't keeping super detailed notes. I didn't have my shorthand. That's a thought. Where would I put it? I'll put it here. To do. Revisit Centauri constellation when lander is reinforced. Alright. Now all I gotta do is remember that I made that note to myself and we're good. I need a whole memento setup. So yeah, like, it's, in the one hand, like, yeah, it's easy to see how Ultima 6 it's a giant technical leap forward beyond Ultima 5. It adds new things to the genre. It's super important for the entire development of RPGs. You can start to see, contemporary games, Baldur's Gate 3, Divinity Original Sin, you start to see the shape of them when you look at Ultima 6. But at the same time, it's there's Ultima 5 is like the apex of development of a particular form. It is a man who is genuinely at that point a master of the top-down iconographic style of RPG, Sumerian world, and I could tell. I didn't need to scan it. I got an eye for what a Sumerian world looks like. Okay, Alpha Centauri. We're not doing this. You know why? Because this is the Pluto of Alpha Centauri, so to speak, and the temperature was 159 degrees Celsius, and it's got the red orbit line. We're just gonna melt. We need heat shields before we can start doing that junk. So, Beta Centauri. Doesn't look like I hit it last time. Let's find out together, team. Yeah, so yeah. Ultima 5, not as advanced as Ultima 6 by any means, and yet it represents a master at the top of his form, working with confidence, and at the apex of this particular strand of development in the genre. And then Ultima 6 is a giant leap forward, but it's also baby steps into a new frontier. And that comes through, I think, like already, just things like we got mouse controls now, and we have the paper doll equipped set up, and we have all that good stuff, graphical inventory, but you still need to use a command called move, and then click on something, and then click where you want it to go. We're not yet at the point where I can just right click on the item and drag it where I want it to go, which I am almost 9 9% positive. 9,000. I'm entirely positive that that represents something that will exist in Ultima 7. I also bet that I've only seen like a few screenshots even of Ultima 7. I'm very confident the viewing window is going to get larger. It does feel kind of cramped in Ultima 6. The amount of the screen you can see at once is like a perpetual fog of war. But it's really cool. It's really cool that, you know, the companions who already feel like familiar people to me just because I've seen their names for all the hours I spent playing Ultima 4 and 5, now they have faces and they talk. It's cool. Another Uriel world. Hideous. Here's a problem. My record keeping got way better later in the previous playthrough. So the hitting the ground running thing is also running into a problem here. All the things where I have detailed notes, like you'll find exotics here, biosamples here, I can't get to them yet. I need the materials to upgrade. Fortunately, even though it's one of those things that it's a gamification of work, the harvesting, when you're just harvesting, I find the loop fun. I like to show up on the planet, and scan it, and then say, fucking cyanic world. God damn it. Head off to the next one. Okay. I gotta believe. Come on. Is it too much to ask that those represent 2 treasure and or auric worlds and the red one's a radioactive moon? Selenic. I mean, I knew this wasn't going to be anything exciting. Okay, come on. 3 for 3. Give it to me, baby. Metal. Base metals. Those are probably corrosives, so we'll be doing a public service by getting them off the metal world. But if they're radioactives, then I'll be happy. Because of my own profit. Uranium! And that was a big uranium deposit too. So why am I focusing on the base metals? It doesn't matter. This is going to be a multi-trip thing. And it's all coming together now. This is where the expedition starts to become a success, and we kickstart the whole mission. Loads of uranium and some sulfur. Haven't even picked up the precious yet. You know what? I probably ought to look at the cargo hold. Do we need to jettison some crummy junk? No, we don't. We're nowhere near full. We'll keep the crummy junk. Hold on to that junk as long as you can. So, in service of my cause of eventually completing all thoughts that I start, even if 30 minutes have elapsed, all that junk. Great minds, my dear founders. One thing I've started working on, getting set up for way down the road. I am laying the groundwork for a much later stream. Is that I got the Gold Box companion app, and I just got to figure out how to get it working with my GOG purchase of the Forgotten Realms Gold Box games. Eventually, I'll probably get more of them, maybe. But suffice to say, I would really love at some point to do Pool of Radiance as a Let's Play. But I have played some Pool of Radiance before, and there's one problem. It was the first game in the series, and it's faithful to, like, it was literally TSR, the former owners of Dungeons and Dragons, would only give them the AD&D license if the game followed all the rules. And so, well, I mean, neither of the yellow ones turned out to be the good thing, but even though that wasn't a radioactive world, that metal moon was great. We got 2 possibly purple, possibly violet, possibly whatever. Hey, more colorful moons. Good possibilities here. So the problem in Pool of Radiance 1 is this. If you're familiar with old, D&D, AD&D first edition rules, you know that it's all, to use your spells, you gotta memorize them while camping. You need X number of hours to memorize spells before you can cast them. And so, if your party is adventuring, and you get to a spot where it's like, alright, we're safe to rest here, we have to heal up, and you're all level 1, the process of healing up involves having your, probably one cleric memorize Cure Wounds in all his slots, which is going to be 2 or 3 slots, cast all those slots, healing one of your 6 party members, hopefully, back to full. And then camp again and do this and memorize the spells. And every time you camp, you might get attacked. And it takes forever and it's tedious. Even if you're in a safe spot where you're not going to get attacked, it's friggin' tedious. They learned this quickly. Oh, hey, I think this radioactive world just might be full of radioactives. And we have done a bioscan, so there are no freaky deaky spiders down there that might turn us into heroes with all kinds of responsibility. I suppose I'm trying to save the whole galaxy. So that might be even more responsibility than Spider-Man deals with most of the time. Okay. How are we doing in the cargo hold now? No need to check yet, but okay, yeah. Actually, no. I filled more than 50% of my remaining capacity, so we'll be jettisoning some stuff because we're still at 42 fuel. We're just adventuring. So, yeah, very quickly, SSI, Strategic Simulations Incorporated, the makers of the Gold Box series, among other things, realized, oh, I'm sure that there are galactic scale Spider-Man stories, if only because the sad reality of shared superhero universes is that eventually they build to the point where it no longer makes sense to have the heroes doing the classic things that they were designed for. Why would Batman be fighting crime in Gotham City when, for the 18th time, the entire multiverse is at stake? So, anyway, SSI realized, oh, hey, this game was great, it was very popular, but this particular part of it was boring, and probably they got a lot of feedback that this particular part of it was boring. So they added a command called fix in all the later Gold Box games. You press fix, and it does the work of having, I think the amount of time necessary for all the memorizing and shit goes by, but you don't have to do it all yourself, and it just happens. And then you can get back to the part of the game that is fun, which is not the repeated memorization, casting, and then rememorization of the Cure Light Wound spell. So, the Gold Box Companion has many features, most of which I'm going to ignore because I want as pure of an experience as possible. But I have my limits! So, if I'm ever doing Pool of Radiance on this show, I'm doing Pool of Radiance with the fix command reverse engineered into the game. And if that comes true, if I can get that to work, that's on the docket for this year. We'll see. A lot depends, on the amount of time I find, the other things I decide I want to do on this channel. I have so many plans and so little time until May, when no matter what, when the academic year is over, it's not time off. I teach courses in the summer, but those are easier, and I'll have more time. Also, that's probably not going to happen, knock on wood, I could also just literally lose my job, in which case in May I'll be streaming like a pro. So, I mean, fingers crossed that isn't how it goes. But you never know. And we must be philosophic about the troubles that could befall us. But I am thinking the good thoughts most of the time, which is nice. Better way to feel. To reasonably sure things are going to work out. But either way, there'll be more time. So who knows how many Let's Plays I can possibly do in this 1 year. But we got Star Control 2 and we got Ultima 6. And I'm sure I can get those both done this year. I'd like to do Pool of Radiance. I would like to do Starflight, actually, which is a precursor, if you will, to this game. Not literally, but it has a lot of the same themes and some of the same mechanics. Not, as I understand it, space war action combat, but the harvesting resources and exploring the galaxy part, more so. It's more of a traditional RPG, or at least has more elements associated with traditional RPGs. Some of the folks, like the head honchos of the development of Star Control 2, worked on Starflight. So we're going backwards in the lineage. But that's something I'd like to do. I'd like to check out this Magic Candle game. My buddy gave me Wizardry 8, which I might check out at some point. That would be the most modern Let's Play I've ever done. Maroon World. Nothing too exciting down there unless there's a lot of stuff I could zap, which there's not. Oh well. Say this for Maroon. It's one of my favorite albums by Bare Naked Ladies. It's one of those things I recognize that anyone with cool taste in music, I instantly destroy my cred when I talk about the Bare Naked Ladies as one of my favorite bands, and I don't care. Because if I wanted to establish musical cred, I'd talk about all the cool hip-hop that I like. I wouldn't even bother with rock and roll. Any Maroon fans in the audience? Favorite track on Maroon? It's impossible to choose. Magma World. Oddly enough, this Magma World is very cold, but the tectonics are not welcoming. And there's nothing down there to make it worth risking it. I mean, nothing can make tectonics level class 8 tectonics could never, ever be worth venturing when you don't have tectonic shields on your little thingy dingy. Did I already do this one? I don't think so. No, because it's got a moon. I would remember that. I can say that with certainty because we'll never know. It's down one of the other forking paths of this garden. Selenic moon. It's when you know you're an old hand. Even before you get the ensign to run the scanners, you're bemoaning. Come on. I would say my biggest programming objection to this game is they should have made the collision area larger on larger planets. I think it's the same size little dot. Just need to hit whether you're going for a Pluto-sized planet or a larger one. Nice vinylogous world, but at this point, we got so many radioactives, we're not crawling around in the vinylogous dirt looking for base metals. So on to the next one. Which does not look promising. And yet, for completionism's sake, let's wrap it up. Zeta Centauri. Well, the planet itself is a gas giant, but it's got moons. Wild tangent. It's just returning to something I was talking with some friends about very recently. The what's their names? Benioff and Weiss, the Game of Thrones guys. Does anyone remember how their original planned first project after Game of Thrones was going to be called like Confederate or something like that? and it was going to be set in an alternate history where the Confederacy won the U.S. Civil War, and slavery persisted to the common day. Just imagine, for a moment. I mean, somebody wised up enough that they are not actually going to do that anymore. But how could you, in a million years, look at anything in that Game of Thrones series, including the parts where they were mostly just holding up, Benioff was holding the novel open while Weiss got the words down in the script, in the screenplay. How could you look at any of that shit and think, these guys, we have a full ship, we gotta jettison some junk. Got too much junk in my trunk. So, I don't want these corrosives anymore. And I don't need all these base metals. Let's speed it up. There we go. We'll take it down to 130. No. Just 100. Yeah, how could you ever look at anything those dudes wrote or directed? Because often there were scenes where the dialogue was all George R.R. Martin, but for no reason at all, there were 5 prostitutes topless in the background. How could you look at any of that and think, these guys can depict a world where slavery still exists in America in a thoughtful and respectful, non-exploitative way that won't get, massive boycott HBO petitions going? Well, I mean, people only thought that for a few minutes, obviously. At some point, some higher up in HBO was like, hold on, it's like, no, we're not making this fucking show. Yeah, those guys suck. Not that I begrudge them their success. Far be it from me to worry about that. But I do begrudge them that famous interview they did where they said, themes are for 8th grade book reports. Why are you a writer? If you think having themes is stupid. Stories are about twists and unjustified nudity. It could be worse. Lots of things. Yeah, I can imagine there's some ways, some worse ideas, some worse alternate histories these guys could come up with. But finish your thought. What are you thinking they could have done that was worse? Okay, now, how are we for fuel? What do we need to go home? We're not that far from home. So let's hit the Ziklas system and meet the Pkunk, hopefully. Okay. Delta Ziklas is where the Pkunk are, but Zeta Ziklas, if I can find it, yes, has at least one treasure planet, according to my notes. Chart a course. Ensign, make it so. And away we go. Anyway, what they're working on now is a Netflix adaptation of Cixin Liu's Remembrances of Earth's Past trilogy, which are just astounding science fiction novels that I can't recommend strongly enough. And I read those novels because I heard there is going to be a Netflix series, and I read like 2 sentences about the books, and I thought, those sound really cool. I don't need to learn anything more about this. I'm going to read the books. And so I missed the part about who was producing the show. And I was reading the novel, and I was just thinking like, wow, this is going to be like hard to adapt, but there's going to be just a ton of amazing scenes. Like, even if they botch it, if it's a fairly faithful adaptation, it will have amazing images, some great scenes, some incredible set pieces, and so on. I thought, like, it'd be hard to screw this up entirely unless they got Benioff and Weiss to do it, chortle. And then I finished the trilogy, and I went to read more about when the Netflix series was coming, and found out it was them. And I thought, why would these guys? I don't know. Like, if you've read the novels, I'm not going to say anything that would spoil them because you should all read the novels if you're at all interested in science fiction. Cixin Liu's Remembrances of Earth's Past trilogy. The first one's called The Three-Body Problem. So, of course, the show is going to be called The Three-Body Problem, right? It's like Song of Ice and Fire becomes Game of Thrones. So, where was I? Yeah, I was like, what could possibly appeal to these guys about this? Like, so much of this novel is people having like extended conversations about physics concepts or whatever. But then I thought, here and there's like some shocking violence, and I guess that must be like the whole show is just going to be trying to get to the fireworks factory with the shocking violence, right? I don't know. Hold on, checking in. All right. None of the viewers are friends of or literally David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. We have not... My unprovoked ranting about how I think those guys are hacks has not driven off any viewers. So that's a relief. Here we are. Got some noble elements down here. My tendency is to want to call them noble gases, but they are just... absolutely British. I can think of... Okay, how many... Can I think of more than one? I can think of one adaptation that I think is better... I can think of two, actually. I'll give you two. American Psycho. The film by Mary Harron, directed by Mary Harron, starring Christian Bale as Patrick Bateman, is significantly better than Bret Easton Ellis's novel American Psycho, while also being extremely faithful. And the reason for that is that everything in the movie is quite literally from the book. Like every line of dialogue in the movie, I'm pretty sure you can find in the book. Every scene appears there somewhere in the book. Even they took in the book all the crazy monologues about like cheesy music and treating it really, really seriously, like when Bateman's going on and on about Huey Lewis and the News or whatever. That's all in the book, but those are just like standalone monologue chapters. They're not like scenes, and so they got them into the movie by having him just constantly sharing his thoughts about 80s music with people unprovoked. So it's all right from the book, but I would say that maybe like 50% of the events of the book are just of the stuff in the book is just cut out, and as it happens, almost everything that's cut out of the book is just relentless, droning, painful to read descriptions of sadistic murders of young women. And like obviously there's still those in the movie, but she identified the ones that are important and realized we don't need. I'm not even going to describe some of the shit. I'm not a weak stomach. I like gore, quite frankly, not in real life, but in a story. But in the there's some stuff that it's just like, man, why did you write this in your novel? What did it contribute? So it's a super faithful adaptation, but what she did was she did what what Ellis's actual editor should have done. She said, you got a great story here, and you got to trim the fat. And she trimmed the fat. The only other example I can think of is sounds good, cousin. I'll hit you up. Yeah, so the only other example I can think of off the top of my head, and to be fair, I haven't read the entire original text and won't until soon. I am having a great stream, and I expect to continue. Pitiful little chondrite world, but that's okay because I know, thanks to my own record keeping, unless there's some procedural generation in this game, that I am closing in on a treasure planet. So I can live with a lousy chondrite world being lurking somewhere. So Attack on Titan is, to the extent that I've read any of the original manga, oh no. there is some procedural generation here, isn't there? Or I took notes wrong. Equally plausible possibilities, but that is very clearly... Here are my notes. It says... Zeta Jiclis, Planet 1, Treasure Planet. But that is visibly not a treasure planet. Unless it has moons. Unless it's the gas giant has a treasure moon. Fingers crossed, because I would really like my... I'm sure my guide to all the important things, like where to find the specimen for Admiral Zex or whatever. I'm sure those are constant. Really frustrating if I can't also... Well, I don't think I think a roguelike purist waffle syrup would be... Aha! Okay. Woo! Treasure moon! Let's make a landing. A roguelike purist would be grotesquely offended by the implication that procedural generation is all it takes to be a roguelike. The true purists won't even accept graphics. Like the strictest definitions of a roguelike, if you're not using Ashi, Ascii, I don't know how to pronounce that, characters, you're a poser. So much treasure down there. Okay. Better take a look at the cargo hold. We got no space. But you know what we don't need? A single base metal when we found this many precious elements. ASCII. That works for me. ASCII, Ashi. They're all fine pronunciations to me. Yeah. Like there are people who would say, like, if you're playing Rogue and you're playing the DOS version where your character is a smiley face, poser. That's probably overstating the case. I'm pretty sure actually that smiley face is part of an expanded ASCII set. But yeah. I love Rogue, and I love roguelikes of many different types, including big fan of your mystery dungeon, you know, the Chunsoft roguelikes, which are it's kind of funny because it wasn't until very recently when I played Sharon the Wanderer, Tower of Fortune, and the Dice of Fate last year when it came out on the Switch. I'd always loved those mystery dungeon games, whether it was Tornico / Toulon's Mystery Dungeon or I played Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon. I don't think I ever played the Pokemon ones, but I loved them all, and I was always like, such a distinct genre, but like I don't know what the right name for it would even be. And then I started playing Sharon the Wanderer fairly recently, and I was like, fucking roguelike, obviously, in the purest form, because like we use roguelike nowadays to describe any game that takes some of the conventions of a roguelike and applies them to a different genre. But the Chunsoft Mystery Dungeon games are literal roguelikes. Like every aspect except that they have graphics is exactly the same. And they're great. I'm not trying to diminish what Chunsoft added in their versions, take away from them. I could go back for more precious minerals here, but I just don't feel like it. I feel like we already have tons. So let's meet the Pkunk. Let's go home. Let's turn in the gold. Let's get a little bit faster and more rotatable. And then let's go and listen to the best song in the game when we meet our buddies, the Melnorme. Okay, so Delta Jiclis is where I want to head. And then from there, home is definitely, I'm going to have the fuel for it, so it's fine. Don't need to do any harvesting. I'm very happy with my haul. So here we go. Don't need to take any notes. Yeah. Ensign, press the confirmed button in the search log. I'm sorry, folks. That was a horrible sound. I just banged my drinking glass on my tea mug, which is right next to my microphone. Yes, right next. I'm sorry. That's bad content. No damage to the T-Mug, and I didn't spill anything, so I'm happy with that. Okay, we're throwing in a save in here, because that could be the Pkunk coming to meet me, and it could be the Slilandro also coming to meet me, but just for much... Oh, wait. No, I don't need to do any of this junk. Gamma Agiculus? What the hell? How did I mess that up? Well, I messed it up by clicking on the wrong thing. Easy enough to answer my own question there. At some point soon, I'm not doing a Let's Play of it, but when a day comes where I can just say, like, alright, this Tuesday evening I'm going to stream a little or something, like stream on a day that I don't normally stream. Where's Delta? Delta Kruger. Beta Agiculus. Oh, this is torture. This one's not Delta. There's Eta. It's right around here somewhere, isn't it? I'm gonna have to go manually. It is what it is. Alright. And maybe we'll just get to meet the Pkunk by having a Pkunk come and meet me. Oh, you know what? I can look at the full color star map here. Will that help me? No. It won't. It does not label the stars. Fair enough. But I know that Delta is very close here to Gamma, even if I'm failing to target it. So, we'll head back out. Let's find out who this is. Say hello. Here we go. I agree, sir, that your questions are interesting. I'm skeptical of the transcendence or significance of anything going on with you. I'm not describing the Pkunk when I say this, but the Pkunk put me in mind of them. Right-wing hippies. Awful. Just awful. Not my favorite kind of people. Okay. Let's get underway here. I suppose I better take a look here. Nope. We've only lost Herbal Crusaders, so... No right-wing hippies in the audience. Nobody out there with Birkenstocks on going, vaccines were created by people named Rothstein. How dare you say that I'm being bigoted by saying, I'm just saying. Yeah. You get to know some interesting people when you're just on Facebook and random people send you friend requests because they saw you said something interesting on someone else's status. Or you just get to watch your friends' brains disintegrate. People that you cared about deeply, that you still care about, but you're just like looking at them and you're like, this is not the route that I expected to see you of all people, who thinks that cannabis can cure every disease, winding up being just furious all the time at wokeness and so on and so forth. Seekers of truth, come on, fill it up. Give me some truth. It's a good thing I know Robert's not watching, because he's always like, we don't want to get political on the stream. And today I just can't stop myself. At least my politics are mild, right? It's... Well, I mean, it's all of this. It's, you know, take a look at the window. But it's colliding with me needing to figure out how do I... When all of my classes violate gathering restrictions, how am I going to make this work? Like, they violate gathering restrictions, except the gathering restrictions won't be enforced. But it's like, if my students all leave the classroom and don't immediately disperse, if they stayed in a cluster and stepped to the sidewalk, they'd be breaking the law. Don't know. It's a thorny issue. I've got some ideas about how I'm going to make this all work. And try to... You can't please everybody, you know. Can't please all the people all the time, as they say. Oh, I met the Pkunk. I didn't need to come to Alpha Jiglis to see them as well. So... Yeah, the registrar shut down the room change request system because too many faculty members were requesting different... Hello, D-Homes Gaming! Welcome to the stream. I'm glad that you like them, and I'm glad that you're here. I'm having so much fun with this game. I'll give you a little back. I mean, you might have caught it in the videos because I try to repeat it every now and then. But I first heard of this game in the late 90s when I got the internet, and being a voracious absorber of information, was constantly reading articles about whatever, found a series about classic PC games, read about this game, thought, that sounds so cool. Never like crossed paths with it. Never had access to it at that time. I'm sure like it's been a long time since I could have had access at any moment and just hadn't thought of it. But I realized recently that with my fancy gaming PC and my having a job that pays me decently, I can have all the old games that I want, and I can plug every gap in my memory. So, yeah, had about, 25 years to hype this game up to myself, and it's literally exactly what I hoped it would be, and what I thought it would be. Both in the sense of, like, what the experience of playing it is, and, like, what's going on in it, and how good it is. And I don't know how often you can do that. Get excited for something for decades of your life, and not be let down by it in the slightest. And here I am. Not let down in the slightest. I'm a real big fan of this game. And I haven't played it, I haven't streamed it at all. But I played some Star Control 1 to I was like, I should get the feeling for the combat. Although, if you've been watching the videos, you know that I did not, and have not. But I thought I should. So I played that one first, and obviously, it's not this. It's in fact, a whole different can of worms. More limited as a game, but it was pretty cool. It was fun. And wild that it turned out this was what they were building. You know, they had the kernel of this in their mind already. And they were like, well, we gotta do something simpler that people will like so we can get the budget to do this. And it all paid off for them, which is cool. Absolutely loving it. Absolutely. Well, I'm having a very similar experience with Ultima 6, except that I did play Ultima 6 multiple times because my buddy had it on his computer, and we would fire it up, create a character, beat that first battle against the gargoyles, wander around, maybe get a horse, never achieve a single thing, have no idea what to do, give up, play Dune 2 some more. But it always stuck with me. And I always wanted to be a person who was into Ultima. And between access and finally, at the age of 35, being diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder and now being properly medicated so that I have the focus and drive that I need to play an open world game that isn't overloading me with guidance. But what to do next? Commander Hayes. Oh, you got some news. Tell me more, Commander. Oh ho. They in the Zeman system by any chance? I put the card on my the envelope on my forehead. Oh, they want a rendezvous at Alpha Centauri. Hyperwave transmission from the Rigel system? I don't know that I ever followed up on that in my previous playthrough. Did I note it? I did. I just never did it. I'm going to put it in bold here in the notes spreadsheet. So yeah, I started Ultima 6 last week, and I mean, I played it. So it's exactly what I remembered, except that I'm seeing it with a completely different set of eyes in a lot of ways. Both because I'm an adult now, but also because I've gone back and beaten Ultima 4 and Ultima 5. Really, really enjoying plugging these gaps in my gaming history knowledge. Console-wise, I never had a problem because I was a teenager. I was an adolescent in the late 90s when the internet came. The heyday of I'm sure that someone would easily quickly correct me that was not the true I'm sure the heyday of emulation actually came later. But for me, that was the heyday of emulation. And so I'm fairly confident I've played the majority of the Famicom catalog and Sega console-wise, I've probably played a lot more of the classic console games that exist than the average person. PC-wise, I'm in the blank. You should play Ultima, for sure. Don't start with 1 or 2. I hear 3 is pretty good. Big step forward. I started with 4, because that's kind of the one where Ultima becomes what people think of when they think of Ultima. At the same time, I will say, you have another option. I mean, you could do both, but I'm doing it. So you can come check that out. I do my best to keep it lively, even when not everything is necessarily lively in the game. Okay, he's repeated his bulletins to me, and I appreciate that. I will eventually, Commander, but that's not our priority just yet. Alright, let's crew up. And I don't think we need another ship. We do need fuel. So, okay, let's fill up the fuel tanks we have, right, by holding the return key instead of button mashing like I'm playing caveman games or something. I haven't switched. People keep telling me I should, and I'm not going to. But I mean, I think I will eventually play Urquan Masters because I want to hear the voice acting, and I can easily imagine this being a game that I will want to play again. But for now, I'm just dossing it. I'm a purist in that regard, I guess. Yeah, maybe I should have. But I'm comfortable with this right now. Yeah. If you're out there, Wibble, I'm sorry to disappoint you, because Wibble was pushing hard for me to switch to Urquan Masters. And the day will come, but the day has not come yet. Okay. Crew pod would be a good choice. A fuel tank couldn't hurt, even if we're not going to fill it up just yet. We're not doing a lot of combat, so I don't think that's a priority. Not doing a lot of combat, so the crew pod's not the priority yet either. Let's get a little better at turning. Exactly, British. For context here, I did achieve a whole lot of, or at least progress towards a whole lot of things on my not work to-do list this week, including the Danielle sprites. So I have sprites for the whole Dream Street crew. Yeah, that's what I hear, and I believe it, and I will experience it one day. Even if I don't do a full Let's Play of it, I'll come on here and everyone get my reacts where I say, alright, yes, you were all right, folks, I should have done this. Okay. Okay. We'll put a fuel tank on. We still got money because we didn't do the crew pod yet. We're not going to just yet. So let's... More thrusters, more turning jets, and we'll just keep that little... Just in case we come limping home, something goes terribly wrong. I forget to load the save. Oh. No, we might as well fill up. Or, not fill up, but get what we can. Okay. And here we go. Alright. Throw in now save. It's just like starting over. It'll be just like starting over. John Lennon, not my favorite Beatle, but he was a Beatle, so I'm a pretty big fan of him. And that's one of his great solo songs, I think, personally. Big fan of just like starting over. Thanks for dropping by, D Holmes Gaming, and I'm glad you came. And I hope you have fun doing whatever you gotta go do. And I do hope to catch you again. Okay. Rendezvous at Alpha Centauri. I don't know if it's necessary to trigger the Melnorme in the Zeman system, but it can't... Oh! One thing for sure. We might as well go harvest the biosamples available to us on the moon if we're going to go meet the Melnorme. Kind of frustrating that I know the location of a rainbow planet, but I won't be able to force the game to tell them that. Yeah, so... Oh, yeah. I was bragging about all the progress I made this week on things. Yeah. I finally, like... The Danielle sprite is now not me, making pixel art for like an hour and then going, God damn it, deleting the file so that Danielle doesn't see it and be like, that's what you think I look like? And... Okay, hopefully these moon beasts aren't super aggressive. I got that done. I did I beat Wizardry. I got the, what's it called? The Gold Box Companion app, although I haven't configured it yet, so that wasn't that big of an accomplishment. I just downloaded something. I learned how to adjust palettes in DOSBox so that I could play Wizardry the way it was intended to look if I hadn't beaten it already and wasn't really planning to play it again. Oh, there's no... Why would those show up on the bioscan? Come on. Alright. Oh, star map. Alpha Centauri. They propose a rendezvous. Dun 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 dun. There's all kinds of early game things I never followed up on last time, which we will follow up on this time. In addition to just getting right out of the gate and accomplishing some things that we did not accomplish before. Does anyone remember, because I don't, the rendezvous at Alpha Centauri is what did it specify a planet? Sound off if you know. It's fine if you don't. I can figure it out. And maybe it'll just be in the system. Let's find out. It's not just in the system. So let's go to planet 1. Perchance. No luck. Planet 2. Here we come. No luck. All these planets too hot to land on until we have elemental shields, which we can't get until we meet the Melnorme. Okay, I was complaining with the center point and the hit detection for large planets. In fairness, it can also be frustrating on the small ones. My biggest complaint about this game, because I do not have many complaints about Star Control 2. One of those games that, as I've been saying, I'm astonished it isn't constantly ripped off. Seems like something in, some indie developer could really get something cool going on. By just, coming up with a name that isn't Star Control and then just making Star Control. Alright, come on, Melnorme. Where do you want to rendezvous here? Well, maybe we'll just try the going to the Zeeman system strategy. Here we go. Planet 6. Alright, are we ready? Is everybody ready? This is the moment that I've been waiting for. Oh, sorry. Too excited. Jump the gun. What a great song. Yeah, we come in peace. We like you folks. We'll understand. It's probably not even you personally, but one of your compatriots has a special crystal that will tell us of a bad omen coming in 2159. And this time around, I will understand that is not a bad omen specifically affecting the Zeeman star system and is in fact the doom of the entire galaxy, which will cause me to act with much greater urgency towards that deadline. Halftime beat. He's not going to tell me a lot about himself. Tell us about the trading. Well, their origins may very well have been part of the, what was it called? The consortium? The collective? The 6 species that formed an intergalactic civilization prior to the attack of the psychic aliens who enslaved the Urquan, etc. We don't have literal confirmation of that theory, but it's very likely. Alright. Shall we begin trading? I mean, not literally, because I don't have any biosamples at the moment. In fact, let me start looking through my notes. Okay. Okay, the Gorno system. Alpha Gorno will have some biosamples. And, of course, if we want to, once we have the fuel capacity, we could shoot up to Epsilon Draconis and find a rainbow planet, which will just load us up with credits. But I think I've learned that it's problematic to spend your credits on their information services because they so frequently give you tips that you've already figured out, whereas maxing out their technology tree is vital. So we will absolutely prioritize that. I have no questions, sir. It's been a pleasure. I love this, even though I know nothing's going to come of it. But why does your mood ring like background bridge color change? Costs far more credits than I will ever get. Gotta find you need to find a friggin' rainbow solar system. to get the credits to make that particular purchase. All right. It was a pleasure to meet you, sir. Real good stuff. Beginning of a beautiful friendship, as they say. Okay. So let's... Okay. What's the general outlook of the Gorno system? Sounds like Alpha Gorno is the only one that's going to be useful for current purposes. But how far are these the Gorno systems? Yeah. Do I want to go that... Oh, yeah, because then I can shoot up to Zeman. Is there anything to find in the Zeman system besides? Yeah, there's a treasure world there. So, there's a decent path if we've got the fuel for it. 81 fuel. So if I go to Gorno here... And which one did I say that I wanted? Alpha. Alpha Gorno. The big dog of the Gorno constellation. So it was 15 to go there. And then this is an imperfect system. Okay. We definitely have enough fuel to make that circle. So, alright, that little route. We'll hit some other systems while we're on the way. So let's get going. Chart a course. Ensign. Make it so. I still haven't watched Picard. That feels like an oversight. Discovery didn't grab me. But I should watch Picard. I should at least check it out. Add that to the list. Oh, man. The early days when your thrusters are so limited. You call this hyperspace? This is just space, baby. It's not hypospace. We're going... But it's... Hyper doesn't feel like the right word for it. Here's a dumb story. I don't know why I would share a story like this. I don't know if it has any appeal. But I was a kid. So was my friend Kenny. And we were sleeping over at my nanny's house, my grandparents, my paternal grandparents, if you care about that detail. And so we're both in a single bed on the two single beds in the room. Late at night, we were awake, and what we were doing to bide the time till we fell asleep was we were taking turns telling jokes. And being kids, I'm sure that a lot of these weren't great jokes. Because we were telling some jokes that we knew, but then we sort of veered off course into trying to make up our own riddle-style jokes when we were little kids. So I'm sure that mine weren't funny. So even though this story is about criticizing Kenny and his joke craft, I'm not confident that I was doing so much better. But I think you get some insight into me, the fact that I felt this way as a child and then remembered it for so long. An Auric world. I love gold. Yeah. So it's Kenny's turn to come up with a joke. And he said, what's the hyperest video game system? Because we didn't know there were console when we were kids. There were video game systems. What's the hyperest video game system? And I was trying to think. Because we were trying to get it right now that we were making them up. Figure out what the other person's getting at. So I was like, what could be the hyperest video game system? I was trying to think, where's the pun? And by this point I had a GamePro magazine. I knew there were all these, there's a 3DO and, Jaguar, stuff that I'd otherwise never encountered. So I'm trying to think, what's the punchline here? And then finally I was like, I don't know, what is it? And Kenny went, Hyper Nintendo! And then started laughing. And I was so mad because that's not a console. It's not wordplay. It's literally just, he picked an adjective and said, what's the superlative video game system? Adjective Nintendo. And I must have been 8 years old. And I was just like, it's not a well-crafted joke, Kenny. And again, I'm sure I wasn't coming up with anything great. This will be a repeat one because I'll repeat this 1,000 times in my life. I already haven't and shall again. So if you've tuned in before, you probably heard this one. But one of my favorite riddle style jokes: why do seagulls fly over the sea? Because if they flew over the bay, they'd be bagels. Ha ha ha! Alright. Halide worlds have corrosives, the most deceptive type of resource. So all right, I didn't say exactly where the biosamples were, so we gotta be systematic. It's the only way to do it. Oolite. Huh. An oolite world that has no exotics. That's a shame. Waffle syrup. When my friend Little Craig. Peppy! Hello! Welcome. Glad to have you. Biosamples! On the oolite world, this is a dangerous mission. Let's throw a save down. Because I only have one lander. And I don't feel like abandoning the expedition to go back and build a new one. Glad to have you here live, Pebby. Playing Star Control 2, as you can almost certainly tell, since the game is on the screen, and also it's the title of the stream and it's the category I'm streaming in. Alright, here we go. Big danger, but yes, I think, Pebby, a huge part of the secrets of my success, such as it is here on Twitch, have been how much people who love these classic games like to experience them through fresh eyes. And I can see that appeal, because I have this dream. It's gonna be tough because his schedule was rough before he even had a kid, and he's got a kid. But I've always wanted to get my buddy Rich. Even before I was a streamer, my idea for a Let's Play was Rich plays Dark Souls for the first time while I coach him through it. And all right, we lost some crew. There's no sugarcoating that, but you can't make a rescuing the galaxy omelet without breaking a few someone's son and daughter eggs. Ugh. Okay. That got rough. Yeah, I think it would be really fun. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's been done. But I think it would be fun because Rich is like, he's not a natural gamer, but in the limited number of games that he has like poured his attention into, he's like my Street Fighter record against him, like my win-loss ratio is maybe like 1 to 99. And that's rounds. I'm not even talking about winning the whole fight. Alright. No. I think we gotta try this again. It's good. Probably there's no good outcome to be had here where I'm not sacrificing some crew. But this is a worthwhile sacrifice in the sense that, you know, we're sacrificing your lives, crew, so that we can have better landers so that future crew members don't have to be sacrificed. They're the pioneers. They're getting down there. So anyway, I think it would be really fun to watch him develop into being good at Dark Souls. And I'm very confident that he would. But I do have a hard time imagining getting the time out of Rich. It's someone should make a Star Control 2 mod, Pebby, where whenever you go back to the Starbase Commander and you're turning in your resources, first he lists off all the resources that you brought back, and then he tells you the names of every crew member you lost. names and some basic details. Corporal Ashley Lawrence loved to bake. Science officer Julian McGill, was a gardener. He helped us set up our the greenhouses here. Like, I do like what the game does do is it will eventually raise the price of crew, and the commander will give you a strict lecture about respecting human life and keeping our people alive, which is, I mean, that's still something. It reminds me of if you played Into the Breach, a much more recent game. That game doesn't give any, there's no individuality to the citizens who you're trying to save from these, kaiju monsters, the Vec, but it does every time that a building takes a hit. It tells you how many casualties there were, and that alone just kind of really makes you want to protect those buildings. There's people in there. And when I showed up, they had little speech bubbles that said, they've come, they're going to save us. Well, shit. I want to save you. And if I failed to save you, I feel bad about it. It is. It really is. It's a good shorthand. If you're not gonna individualize them and personalize them, at least reminding you that every time you mess up and take a hit, somebody died. And they had a family back on Earth under the slave shields that they'll never see again. Alright, this looks promising. The radioactives, corrosives thing. A lot like oatmeal chocolate chunk cookies and oatmeal raisin cookies. But this time I got the chocolate chunks. So that's good. When you see a plate of cookies and you're like, an entire plate of oatmeal chocolate chunk cookies. You bite into it, it's fucking full of raisins. Why did you do that to me? Why couldn't you put up a sign or something? Or use golden raisins? No judgment here, waffle syrup. I recognize that, for that matter, I don't think that these are the extremes of taste, right? But 4 stars, baby. 4 stars. I'm very glad you caught me alive, because I do love wordplay. I could tell. It's ooh light, but it's another ooh light world that doesn't have any exotics. Not that this isn't a good haul. Are there any ooh light creatures down there? There aren't. Temperature's fine. Weather's not a problem. Tectonics aren't a problem. Loading up. Moto bene. Oh. Sorry, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Oh, goodness. Atrocious luck with the not bad weather on this planet. Oh, we gotta get out of there. Yeah. And to be fair, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, your daughter did hesitate for a brief moment after landing on the Oolite world. I know, eventually the Melnorme, of course, will sell us weather shields. But I just feel like lightning rods were literally invented before electricity. There's gotta be something that we of the planet Earth could have done to set up better planetary landers. Alright, We're not going back down there for more of that junk. Might as well check out Planet 1, and then we're gonna shoot up to Zeeman, see if we can get a few credits, and start, hopefully get enough credits to start down the technology tree, but we'll see what happens. And yeah, you know, I usually wind up wrapping up somewhere around 5 where I am, which would be in 20 minutes from now, but we'll see, because my companion is not here yet. I got nothing else to do. Not that hungry. I had a late lunch, so maybe around 5 I should throw up the intermission screen and just stretch my legs. Oh, I forgot to do the bioscan. Also, we're having real bad luck with the weather here. Okay, pulling back because we're going to throw down a save. That save's not going to bring back those particular individuals. But we want to harvest biosamples, so we want to try this. Gotta do the scan. It's tough to readjust to being unimpressive. And neither the returner itself nor its planetary landers are even in the slightest bit impressive right now. Okay, we've made planet fall. Ah, I hit the wrong button. That's a waste of fuel. We have enough fuel that I'm not going to save scum for a couple units. Not a couple units, but you know, whatever fraction of a unit I just wasted. Oh, come on. You call this weather 3? Like 8 simultaneous lightning strikes? It's alright. We're open to save scumming here. I know I'm kind of flattening the... Save scumming is supposed to be, I think, in its classic form is understood as when you find a way, like, copy files to introduce the ability to save into a game in a way that it didn't mean for you to have. Like if you copy your wizardry disk file so that the permadeath, you can reverse permadeath and bring your characters back, which I'm proud to say I didn't actually wind up doing on my successful wizardry run, although the closer I got to the finish, I started backing it up just because I was like, I can envision a scenario where my party gets wiped and they all fail to resurrect for a really dumb reason, and I'm not willing to put in the grind. I want to finish this. Blessedly, I wasn't forced to. So that was great. Okay. Getting out while the getting's good. Very low on crew, but I think our cargo hold should be looking decent. Yeah, that's not bad. I don't feel great about all the dead people, but we're still, like, the death rate of Earth crew is going to come nowhere as close to the first 10 episodes, so it'll get better. Yeah. Starting over any game that you've already played before, like, you know, you wind up, some things are going to be different about the experience, and in some cases, you'll have different types of advantages. Here, all I've got is knowledge. And I guess probably whatever Twitch reflexes I've developed for the combat. Wait, hold on. The Kaylee system is on the way, and I know that I had checked those out at some point. Epsilon Kaylee. Chart a course. Ensign. Make it so. Actually, I believe etymologically, save scumming as a term originates from the roguelike community. Because you're not supposed to, like, you know, roguelikes are all about permadeath. But I'm sure, but, you know, sometimes, you know, if you've made it to level 50 of, you're in hell in NetHack, and just everything went right for you, I can understand why someone would be like, it's going to be hard enough getting back from hell with the Amulet of Yendor. I can't get down here again. I need to back this up and bring it back. which I'm sure the purists don't approve of. But you gotta, you know, at the end of the day, these are games, right? You should have fun. So, I don't have a strong position on the issue. I try my best personally to play by the rules and not load too many saves, but I also cut myself some slack when I have to. Here we go. Ooh. Oh, no, it's not an Oolite world. It's a Chondrite world filled with nothing worth risking tectonics class 7 for. I wrote this system down as riches, and it has 2 planets, so in theory we're going to find some radioactives or some precious elements or some exotics soon. Not going down there for base metals. As far as like base metals, noble elements, we can't get like none of that on Earth anymore. I guess the slave shield remains an issue, but I gotta remember there's a slave shield. Alright. Well, hopefully Planet 1 conceals great riches. Let's find it together, team. Whew. To return to an earlier theme, closing in on 3 hours, and my throat feels fine. So that's nice. I'm doing a proper job of speaking in head voice. And that's even with the wind chill factor prompting me to start falsettoing out of nowhere. Alright. Come on. I wrote down that you had riches. Prove me right. This is probably what I was talking about. Any metal creatures living down there? No. Well, once again, we're getting real low on crew here. So let's preserve the remaining crew. We are leaving ourselves the option to turn back in the Garden of Forking Paths and take a different route. Enter a different time stream. To return to a thought I didn't even get around to expressing because something came up in the chat hours ago. Seen this meme going around lately that's like, you know, if you take this one pill, then you get X million dollars, and if you take this pill, you go back to being age 6, but with all the knowledge you have now. You see people being like, "Oh, I take the knowledge because you know so much. Like, you know, you could change the course of history." I don't know that you could. Like, if I'd known about 9/11 when I was 6 years old, could I have stopped it? Or would I have got myself, you know, involuntarily committed when I was a teenager? Right? Would I be able to convince my parents to invest in Amazon? Waffle Syrup, the lesson of Bitcoin and all this crypto stuff is that, and I should probably try to learn this too, because I've got a little bit of liquidity. Yeah, knowing about the future is not comforting. It does not really empower us. It's not appealing. I wouldn't want to, like, when I was 6, I probably wasn't 6, but when I was a really young kid, I brought a book home about science from the library, and I learned that one day the sun will nova. Millennia from now. And I was very, very disturbed by that, and I brought it up to my dad, and my dad comforted me by pointing out that you'll be dead long before that happens. I wouldn't want, like, little 6-year-old James knowing that, like, not only is 9/11 going to happen, and the grown-ups aren't going to listen to me. Like, yeah, all the people, because I see I'd stop 9/11 a lot, and it's like, George W. Bush, the president at the time, was given a national security advisor memo titled Bin Laden Determined to Strike Inside the U.S. and 9/11 happened. Some little Canadian... how old was I when 9/11 happened? This is easy to figure out. I was 16. Yeah. Nobody was going to listen to me. Nobody listened to me about anything when I was 16. For better and for... mostly for better, because I was a teenage boy. But also for worse sometimes. Because I was a very progressive teenage boy. But I don't know how many hearts and minds I was able to change about things like, you know... I don't see why gay people shouldn't be allowed to get married. Or whatever. Getting some sulfur. Alright. Well, that was more than 0. So we'll take it. And remind myself that sulfur is not radioactive, it's corrosive. Yeah, but like, if you can just have the money now, several millions of dollars, waffle syrup. Great. No stress at all making that money. And how much friggin' money does a person need? I mean, I know that obviously those opinions vary. Some folks need, you know, some folks need to be in a position where if they woke up every single day and bought every single thing that they saw while also throwing money out of their pocket all the time, would still have their wealth going up just from passive income. Oh, literally 100% of the money. That's not just toppling the world economy, waffle syrup. At that point, you can determine the world economy entirely. Or, alternately, it would turn out that money isn't quite a real thing in that regard. And I bet if you had it all, the governments of the world would want to do something with that. But yeah, give me $6 million. I'm happy. I'll probably keep working. Yes, Peppy, that's an excellent point. And that's who you'd be if you were 6 years old and you knew that 9/11 was coming, and then that imagine if right after 9/11 you had said the U.S. is going to get they're invading Afghanistan, but then they're going to lose interest in that before they catch Bin Laden and launch an unrelated war on false pretexts in Iraq, where they're going to topple the government there, but then not really try very hard to build a stable state in its place, destabilizing the entire Middle East, causing hundreds of thousands of deaths. Nobody would believe you that this was going to happen. That sounds insane. Why would anyone do that? It's not how people behave. We elect our leaders to make thoughtful decisions for us. And yet, that's what happened. So yeah, I just and then in your own life, coming back to the garden of forking paths, every decision point creates a across infinite universes, everything happens. So unless you literally hate every single thing about your life, how are you gonna keep the things that you like in your life? If the flapping wings of a butterfly result in what you have for breakfast determining whether you meet your first love. What you have for breakfast when you're 7, if that has some downstream influence. But you go like, oh, this was a bad relationship in my life, I'm going to avoid it. Well, now you're not the person who learned from that pain or the experiences you had anymore. Are you going to meet the next person that you did like? Do you have the secret? I just don't see, I don't see, I understand that some people have unwarranted conversation. Yeah, exactly. I don't look, I'm sure that if I looked like Ashton Kutcher, most things in my life would get a little bit easier. And I'm not trying to even deprecate myself. I'm an Ireland guy. But I don't look like Ashton Kutcher. Ashton Kutcher. Here's my buddy. Hail to the Melnorme. I never Ever get sick of this? Small announcement. Oh, yes. So now, I appreciate the significance of what he's telling me so much more. It has nothing to do with something that is going to befall the Zeeman star system. It is not an advance warning that I should find another Melnorme location or get all the trading I want done before 2159. It's literally telling me the point at which I will hit a failure state if I don't save the galaxy. To be fair, there's no way our Melnorme friend here could interpret that from the darkening of the pyramid. So, that's fine. It's not on him. Let's see what we can do about that. Got some biosamples. Yes. Alright. I don't remember what the first upgrade is, and I know it's not the ones that I want, which are further down the chain, but I know we can get it started now. Maybe it was waffle syrup. Perhaps you're right. Nonetheless, that was not the interpretation I got the first time, to my everlasting sorrow. But here we are, trying again. Oh, I know. I know everything you have is useful. More than you could ever understand. Plans for building. What do I get first? Yeah. I mean, that's good. Because this time around I understand more about how to upgrade the returner. And so I will do it better. The Melnorme would be all about... Would they? I don't know. Is Melnorme going to be into NFTs? It's an interesting question. I feel like they might be too... they might immediately go like, what is the underlying asset that produces the value of this? And then, you know, it's a hyperlink, I guess. I own this JPEG. Everybody else can have it too. I can't control it. But I did sell my host to buy this JPEG of the worst looking cartoon ape you ever saw in your life. Not even something, you know, I don't know. But jumping way back, waffle syrup. The lesson of something like Bitcoin, I think, more than anything, is when you hear one of these ridiculous ideas, but that a particular class of people on the internet are getting hyped about it, as soon as you hear that, invest on the ground floor. 1 week later, cash out, never think about it again. Because, yes, if I had been more thoughtful, I would have jumped in on Bitcoin. Not because I think I see any case for crypto, except like, you know, if you really like global warming, or if you really like Um, I mean, you want to buy heroin on the internet, I guess. But as far as what I do see, though, is that some people will, like, there will be enough hype for any one of these stupid things to cause it to surge at first. So if you just get in the surge, you don't think of it as a long-term investment, you get out, and then you move on with your life, take your profits and put them in a mutual fund, because you can't beat, like, there's no better plan than just a broad-based index for continual gains. I try to do, like, here's a gimmick investment that I did once. Thanks very much to my former financial advisor. I would shout him out and hype him up, except he got out of the game. So he's doing something else now. So I couldn't drive any clientele to him. But Stuart, my former financial advisor, let's see what Gamma Raynet has on the way home here. When I get home, I'm going to do that thing I said about stretching my legs out. And then we're just going to carry on. Keep going. I'm not bored yet. This is one of the perils, I think, of having two concurrent streams, Let's Plays going, is that I can't tell myself, it's alright, you'll be playing Star Control 2 again tomorrow. I gotta wait a whole friggin' week. So I want to get in as much as I can right now. Yeah, so my financial advisor called me, and he's like, so you got some cash here, and I have a proposal. And I was like, alright, I'm listening. Like, I'm not generally looking to, do a lot of day trading. I'm comfortable with our slow growth mutual fund. But what do you got for me, Stuart? And what it was Emera, the corporation that owns our... It's not ready yet, but it's gonna come. I do have this all on YouTube. My YouTube page isn't there yet because I gotta finish the Danielle sprite. When I have sprites of everyone who ever appears on this channel, I will finally make the, like, banners and shit, because I want my YouTube page to look right when I put it up. And then it'll all be there. That's coming. So I don't know when it's coming, but sooner than... It's going to happen sooner. There's less time between now and when it happens than there is between when I started saying it was going to happen sooner now. Take that for what it's worth. Yeah, and so Emera, the corporation that owns, among other things, Nova Scotia Power, our utility, they had a sudden drop in their stock price. And the reason was that they carry a lot of debt, and the Bank of Canada had raised interest rates. So in a very short-term way, some investors were just like, well, this is not a good place to... their profits are going to be down or whatever. So their stock price had a sudden and ultimately irrational drop because, here's the gimmick, not only do they have a government-backed monopoly on power delivery in Nova Scotia, and we're not a rich province or anything, but we do have electricity in all our homes. Looking nice and pellucid down there. And I see some exotic minerals. Get him. Zoe crystals and get it. So yeah, it had temporarily gone down. He was like, that doesn't make any sense because it's government-backed monopoly. I have not read the relevant laws, but I've been told this by people that they're actually guaranteed a certain rate of return from the Nova Scotia government for Nova Scotia Power, not for all Emera stuff. So that if Nova Scotia Power, like, if we all saved on our, like, if everybody in Nova Scotia got better at conserving power and so forth, and so they made less money one year, they just get paid from the general fund by the government. So such a tax is such a stock is never actually going to stay down. They're going to go back up. So he was like, I think we should just take all of your cash and just buy this stock and wait it out. And so I did. And then within a year, I had to sell because I needed I had to buy a bunch of furniture for personal reasons we don't need to get into. Got kicked out by my partner. And so it was better for both of us in the long run. Don't cry for me. So take us home, Ensign. Make it so. Yeah, so I sold my Emirates stock to buy all this furniture and then, just put the rest in the mutual fund. And I got almost a 200% return on my investment. It was crazy. So, like, there are, when you see, like, if you pay enough attention to spot a market irrationality, that can be a sensible time to pick and choose stocks. Otherwise, financial advice, folks, from a 36-year-old man who still lives in basic student style apartment. Yeah, that's when you want to buy an individual stock. The one I should have done and didn't was right before the pandemic. WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment. Actually, they might have officially changed in their documents. It doesn't stand for anything anymore because they hate to say wrestling. But right before the pandemic, they abruptly fired two of their top executive people who aren't either Vince McMahon's children or Triple H, the professional wrestler. They abruptly fired these people, and as a result, hey, what just happened over here? Oh, my phone died. It's weird. Actually, it's not weird. It's a crummy old phone. They fired these people, and that's the kind of thing, when you abruptly fire your high-ranking people who've been there for a long time, it's the kind of thing that makes you seem like a company in disarray. So their stock price plummeted, but WWE's main sources of revenue are long-term guaranteed deals. Like, Fox pays them tons of money to show SmackDown. The USA Network pays them significantly less money to show Raw on Mondays. And then, much darker, the Saudi government they're in a 10-year, multi-billion, I don't know if that's exactly right, it might just be 1 billion, but they're in a multi-year, extremely lucrative deal to do 2 shows there annually to help, propagandize the Saudi regime. It's not a great thing, but which is not, I want to be clear, to say that I object to the idea that the Saudi people deserve to go and see entertainment that they enjoy. I have no objection to that. It's the propaganda aspects that I don't like, which they've actually toned down. In the earliest shows, it was we're in the progressive city of Jeddah, and then they'd show a video where a female doctor was like, I'm so happy that the prince lets me drive. What a progressive country. They toned that down a lot after the Khashoggi murder. And so, anyway, so it's irrational for the WWE stock price to drop. And therefore, I thought to myself, I should invest in that right now. And then I got distracted because there was a pandemic and stuff. Never called my advisor. Never did it. And if I had, I would have oh my God. They have just been to the moon since then. Not just because the irrationality corrected, but because now they do this gimmick where every quarter they fire a ton of people right before their earnings report. So the stock just up. I should have invested in it. I could have, I don't know, bought myself a boat. Farewell, Commander. Okay, let's get the ship stocked up. I'm going to take a short intermission, and then we're going to go see our dear friends, the Spathi. See if we can get them on site, on the team. And we don't actually have the Pkunk on team yet, so I should also later go back to them. So there's 2 things we can do here. But here we go. We need crew first. This was not as profitable of a journey, so I don't know that I even really have the option of getting a crew pod here. Oh, sorry, Pevi, I didn't even... Kind of bondy. It's not a bond, but yeah, it's a safe investment vehicle. Emera. For sure. Not that I don't have any Emera stock anymore, but... Alright. We're refueling. Fueled up. Yeah, we can only have one more module, which for now has got to be more fusion thrusters. Okay, only 4 more and we're fully decked out. So that's coming together. Throw down the save. Alright. And we'll be right back after this brief intermission. And we're back. Alright. So, this is going to be the final expedition today. And whoops. I want my down to be down in the game, not back down to the intermission screen. Here we go. Departing Starbase. And what did I say I was going to do? I said I was going to Spathiwa. So on the way, obviously, I'm going to need to get some... While we're there, we will need to harvest stuff. So that when we come back, we'll be okay. So... okay. Epsilon Illuminati. Sounds like a good starting spot. If I'm remembering the layout here. Eta Illuminati. Did I hit Eta Illuminati? I didn't. So I could do that too. And what was the... Did I do the Saurus systems? Yes. They all have the label nothing much. So we won't bother with those. Alright. So Epsilon's the really promising one, but it doesn't look like I hit Eta Illuminati. So let's start with Eta. And go from there. This is, you can be, even before the Spathi are converted from the hierarchy to the United Federation of Worlds, you don't really feel like you're taking great risks invading their space, right? They're they're just not very intimidating and easily intimidated, which is nice. So, I do feel good about our progress so far, because it's happening a lot faster than it did last time. And that's what we need, right? Hitting the ground running. So, a large, full-on, proper, is this a 9-planet solar system? A mere 8-planet solar system, which I guess is all we have. Actually, I haven't kept up. Did Pluto get replanetized at some point? Taking a look. It's a halide world. Those are corrosives. I'm not being fooled. Not that there's anything wrong if you prefer corrosives to radioactives. Can't relate to that, but that's how you feel. Waffle syrup. Not judging. Alright, bringing it in. Hey, you know what I feel great about? I just glanced down at my OBS here. I haven't dropped a frame. There's a snowstorm. And we're just, we're laughing. Yeah. Okay. We haven't found out yet why I said that oh, no, I didn't say that Eta Illuminati has some good stuff. That's Epsilon Illuminati. Because the ancient Greek alphabet couldn't be like our alphabet and do the sensible thing of just having one letter E and you just figure out for yourself how it's supposed to be pronounced. They needed Eta and Epsilon. Capture those sounds. Yes, it's Selenic. Okay. This one might just suck. And if it does, it does. It is what it is. Hold on. Hold on. Veering off course in my brain here. Okay. Rigel is actually extremely easy to find. I might have even found it previously. I might be misremembering because it is awful close. On the way back from this final expedition, we'll hit Rigel. We'll find out what the hell was going on there. Ultramarine. It's not just, you know, irregular. Oh, okay. Good. Here we go. Let's just in case, because I still only have one lander. Because this time I got no patience for the ship being even slightly slow. We got to get those upgrades. Then we'll start worrying about other things that could be of assistance here. Alright, well, I'd take stationary life if I could get it, but extraordinarily slow life is an acceptable second best. Zappy zap. Extremely mellow tectonics and weather down here, which is great. Zap zap. Oh yeah. Well, we're gonna need 2 trips, so we might as well take the second trip. Alrighty. So the mineral side of things, we're all filled up there. Quite quick. Hey. I don't know if that's ever happened that I've landed right on the mineral. Is it a good omen? Or, like most things that actually happen, Just a coincidence. I suppose it would depend on who you asked. The Pkunk would be very confident. Ooh, that was a cool looking alien. And technically it still is, because we're actually shooting them with stun guns. I don't know why they turn into these weird circles. I mean, I know that they do, or not circles, but little pods. I know they turn into them as a graphical representation, that it's safe to pick them up now. Officially, though, we're not killing these things. We're just kidnapping them. Our consciences are clear. Alright. Thank you, Planet 6. It's the time of the day where my blue light filter starts kicking in on my monitor, and I go, whoa, did I get a tan? No. Yeah. Peppy, that's exactly what it is. Zap, 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 and the last shot is just... And we did, in fact, catch them all. And, like, not in the Pokemon way, one of each. We caught every single thing on that planet. And now it is just a rock in a void. I gotta get MAME running on this thing so I can find out if I've been, like, am I bad at asteroids now too? Because I used to be really good at asteroids. Yeah. It really is. It's you may not like it, people, but that's what peak performance looks like for the humans. And, well, yeah, the gravity's low enough. There's very little risk here. Fine, I'll take your small supply of base metals. You boring ass selenic moon. This isn't even going to pay for itself if the deposits are all... Okay, at least 8 calcium. Okay. It really, really did look to me like on the larger scan map, not the actual navigation pane. There was something there. But there wasn't. Just a 1 pixel that stood out from the rest. And I think I skipped 4. I think that's planet 4, so I might as well, because one of the things, the color hierarchy can be kind of frustrating. Purple and violet are at opposite ends of how promising a planet's supposed to be. Not literal opposites, but far enough apart that you're constantly like, man, hope that's violet. Pellucid, baby. I bet there's at least one planet somewhere in this game that has, like, you can, like, fill a lander with exotics. Maybe there's not. That seems like the kind of Easter egg they would leave for the... Actually, I say that, but I've watched interviews with the creators of this game, and certainly at least one of them I can see being like, no, that wouldn't, like, the scientific rules that govern this universe would not create a planet loaded with exotic minerals. That is not how the exotics work. The Ars Technica War Stories series, by the way, is what I'm talking about, where I saw this interview. And blessedly, if there was any spoiler information when I watched that, I didn't retain it. But that whole series is excellent. Just interviews with game developers about just what went into developing some game. Usually, like, well-regarded or classic games, but even, I think there's been at least a couple of people being like, in the end, this didn't work out the way we wanted it to. And they're all very interesting. They're interesting enough that they started releasing the unedited, like, here's 3 hours of us just pointing a camera at these people, not turning it into a documentary with additional graphics and you know, carefully crafted context. don't think I did this green one yet. We'll find out quickly enough. Come on, radioactive moon, radioactive moon, radioactive moon. I'm trying to manifest positive energy into the galaxy here. It's the secret, baby. Are there any radioactive monsters? No. I think the actual idea is that radioactive planets probably don't support life because of all the radiation. Yep, that is one of the great qualities of the series, is just how varied it is. Another thing that I really like about the series that is surprising in a way is how charismatic a lot of the game developers turn out to be. Not all of them, but some of them are just like I've never even played Dead Space, but like I'd hang out with Glenn, whatever his name was, just shoot the shit, talk about his philosophy, ask him like, have you played Ultima, or like, what do you think about Mario, the games that I actually do play. Okay, this is great because now we don't have to worry that much. This is an extremely radioactive moon. I think we're done here. All right. So yeah, this will be a profitable expedition no matter what. I think maybe my favorite was the one with the Abe's Odyssey guy. I think that was the one that after it they started publishing the whole ones because people were responding to it just being like, wow, what a fascinating guy. Like, I would just like to hear him talk more about his life even. And so they were like, well, we did talk to him for 3 hours. And so here it is. But yeah, they, and they got like Richard Garriott, but sadly for me, talking about Ultima Online, which was the Ultima game I played the most prior to recently, but it's not a game that I was or remain deeply fond of. It's interesting because now that I'm on Ultima 6, I'm starting to see like playing Ultima 5, except for the map and like what the places are called, like the shape of Britannia and the names of its locations. I can't really look at Ultima 5 and draw a line in my brain to my memories of Ultima Online, but I can do that with Ultima 6 to a degree. Anyway, there's lots. The guy who made Curse of the Oberdin, very interesting. Just a way cooler guy than you would expect someone with his particular facial hair to turn out to be, I would say, is my feeling. Like, you would look at how he presents himself and think, like, this guy is going to be like Jonathan Blow levels of pretentious jerk. I shouldn't say jerk. I don't know Jonathan Blow. He certainly comes off as pretty pretentious in interviews. Did I check this one yet? Okay. So, I think... Okay, here's the route that I'm envisioning in my brain. Finish up here in the Eta Illuminati system. We'll shoot up, find Spathiwa, make that alliance, shoot back, hit the one that Epsilon Illuminati, that I actually noted was good, find those riches, hit the Roger Star system, go home, and we're done. It'll be the longest stream I ever did, I believe. Not falling for it. Those are corrosives. And then tonight, I suspect I'm gonna be watching the Royal Rumble. If I ever stop circling Planet 1 of Eta Illuminati. I have... Well, Peppy, that's why I specifically said just one more planet and its moons here, a specific planet deeper in, one other star system here, one other star system on the way home, and then we're done. If I start manifesting the energy of controlling myself and stopping, because Danielle is here now, and I like a gentleman would have just stopped when she arrived. She showed up during the intermission, so at least I greeted her. Yeah, but I'm having too much fun, so can't just stop. Okay, and also, yeah, like a gentleman. You're right. It sounds. It sounds even worse than I meant it to sound, and I was sort of trying to be funny about how it sounds. Anyways, okay. Epsilon Gruis, Gamma, Epsilon. Here we come. Spathiwa. Chart a course. Ensign. Make it so. Here's the thing, though. Odds are someone's going to need to go to the grocery store before we can have supper. My cupboards are kind of bare. So I'm going to go in the storm. That's kind of gentlemanly, right? The snow is snowing. The wind is blowing. But I can weather the storm. What do I care how much it may storm? And I've got my love to keep me warm. Doesn't quite match the key of the hyperspace music. But it doesn't clash that hard because Irving Berlin was both a wonderful composer, but actually a very limited person in his actual musical ability. He only ever learned to play the piano. This is the Irving Berlin trivia that people tune into 58 Dream Street. Well, this is why I'm saying someone's going to need to go to the grocery store, Waffle Syrup. I am all in favor of them not delivering today. So, Hootman's in the house. Irving Berlin only ever learned to play the black keys of the piano. And so, as he achieved success as a composer, he had a special piano made that had like mechanical dials or thing. I don't know what it actually looked like, but it was a special piano that would transpose the key of the black keys. So he didn't have to learn anything more, but he could expand his range as a composer. Yeah, we're doing it. Yeah, no, don't need to make contact here. Yes, sort of a secret. Like I'm going to talk to your boss right now, but not in a harsh way. I'm here to spread the good news about being friends. Here we are. So many eluders. Makes it easier for each individual eluder to elude. Huffy Muffy Guffy, baby. The safe ones. Alright, we're gonna cover Fwiffo's tracks for him. Yeah, we're just gonna dodge the question. Well, hold on. I can actually answer that, Waffle Syrup. When you see that array around a planet, that means that it's literally infinite. Like, if you engage in battle, you can just keep winning until you forever. I didn't know that at first, but I know that now. Not that I ever felt like I could beat that exact number of anything either. Come on. Look at my ship. My ship can kill so many teddy bears. And this is a fair point on their part. It's not pure cowardice to point out that one ship is fewer than the entire Urquan hierarchy. Yes, Peppy. People who are more confident in their piloting, in their dogfighting skills, could easily have learned that the hard way. I've been blessed to mostly not feel confident in those skills. Although, you know what? Like, I was getting there, I felt. We'll find out. It's going to be a while before I'm engaging in a lot of battles, I think. What's your test? I guess I could have short-circuited this by saying, I'll do it without you even telling me. Alright. The ultimate evil. Alright. I'm sorry. We're going to speed up the dialogue. But, okay. They learned to write tablets. They'd almost learned to read their own tablets. The darkness fell. The evil ones came. Creatures of darkness. They devoured the Spathi. They had no defenses. They became nomadic again. They fled. They fled. The evil ones followed them across the planet. None of their innovations could help them, so they figured out how to get onto the moon. And they've been here for 300 years. Alright. We're going home. The homecoming. It's about to start. Here we go. Please don't bother me while I go save your planet, Spathi. Thank you. And here we go. Here we go. I'm laughing in advance just because I remember this joke. And it's a good joke. You look and you think like, oh man. Especially like now, when I haven't upgraded the planetary lander at all. Easy to think like, this is going to be tough. Then they turns out they're stationary. Just giant. I don't know. What are koalas? Marsupials? If anything, they remind me the most of koalas. They're not as cute. Although very few things are. Passively earning some basic resources along the way. So that's helpful. I love when games find ways to be funny just through deployment of like their mechanics and stuff. I mean, the setup to this it requires written dialogue, but the punchline is all gameplay based. It's all subverting your expectations about what it would take to clear an entire planet of the most dangerous, hostile life forms, the most relentless hunters that have ever been. And of course, as an added bonus here, we're going to earn some credits with our Melnorme pals. Which always brings the added bonus of getting to hear the Melnorme song. Although that won't, we've heard it for the last time today, I think, because yeah, I still think I can do all the things I said I was going to do. But I actually don't think that anymore. I'm growing less confident. And I'm pretty full. So perchance, the answer is I will just wrap this, hit Rigel, go home. Oh, that's dedication to not spoiling the bit. And hello, Wibble. Good to see you. Yeah, take care. Goodbye. Remain well. I'm glad that you hope that. I like that not only they can't pronounce human. Fine, whatever. The phonemes of our languages might not line up. So it's sitting there if you really stare at the stats for a moment, you might think, I don't know, with this danger rating? Children and elderly first. But not for escape or getting to definite safety. All right. We have the Alliance. Do we have to... We don't have the Alliance yet, right? A little bit of time has to pass. But is it literally no time actual? Yep. Here we go. Here's the thing. Knowing what we know about the long-term plans of the Spathi, why would they want to try to stall for 10 to 15 years before they start the work of reverse engineering a slave shield? Fine. It'll be the kind that you're used to. Except that I'm not. I am nicer than the airplane and handsomer. Maybe less impressive aesthetically, but handsomer. I can say that without being arrogant, right? Okay. All right. Low on time, so. Chart a course for Rigel, which I cannot remember if I ever got around to checking out this very early game hint about going to Rigel, but now we are. If I did forget last time, I'm correcting it. If I did it before, I'm doing it again. Either way, we're going to find it. So here we go. Our last stop, except for home today. We might be about to meet the Slalandro. So just in case my battle skills have gotten rusty, what with me only having had to fight, no. Yeah, we are all here at the same time. Goodbye now. Happy to see it was you and not some weird probe. You know, there was a point in my playing this game. Yep, charter course for Rigel, make it so. There's a point in my playthrough that, for a long time, my suspicion before I knew about the Korra and the Civil War was that the Slalandro threat was what caused the Urquan to retreat to their space. Just this relentless, rapacious harvester of all minerals, including those that constitute life forms. And now, I'm really curious to find out what role they play, or even if it turns out that their main role here is to plant a seed, and like Star Control 3 is going to be what this... I don't know. Who knows? I know that Star Control 3 is not regarded as well. Star Control 2. Don't know why, and I bet I'll find out one day, because I can see myself playing it, even if I don't expect that much from it. Okay, so early contact with the Zoq-Fot-Pik. Oddly enough, I think I did this in my trial run, but not on the show. Not my favorite song, but maybe one of the most banging ass beats in this soundtrack. Yes, I knew that. I know that part, and and definitely like whatever things about the game let people down. That's the root cause for sure. Electronic artists or arts. Here at Electronic Arts, we know that the artist is not important to the quality of the art, as long as you've got the IP. No, sir, that's not how art works. And now fight about it for the next several decades to decide who owns it and who gets to make it. And maybe someday we'll see that, whatever, the Legends of the Precursors or whatever it is. Alright, yeah, which one of you is the Fot? They don't agree. Okay. First of all, welcome want 7,000. When I get to it, I will go in with an open mind. I'm always open to finding out that something I had heard was not good or a letdown, has qualities that had not been acknowledged. So one day, we will all find out how I feel about Star Control 3. Right now, we're nowhere as close to nowhere. We know how I feel with Star Control 2. Fucking love it. But I'm not going to be done with it for a while. What channel is that, Wibble? I know that recently a channel followed me, and so I followed back, because unless someday I'm like, you know, really bringing in a huge audience, I can easily I can follow everyone who follows me back. And this channel is two dudes who are like, their videos or their streams are like just them working on a game, Star Control-esque game. But I don't think they're making Urquan Masters 2. But I'd be very interested in checking that out. I am... Oh! Boom! There it is. Peppy! So, yeah, I've watched your videos. Not like all of them, obviously, but like, I've checked it out. It was cool. I really hope sometime soon I'll have time to like really sit down and watch one like end to end, because I am not a very talented programmer, but I am more than not a pro. You know, I have limited coding skills, but I'm always trying to slowly learn, and and one day I'm gonna do something with them, and so it'll be fascinating to watch someone much more skilled than me do the thing. But cool, awesome. There, boom. Now, kind of like the putting a face to a name thing. Except it's putting a stream to a nim. By the way, Zoq-Fot-Pik. Zoq-Fot-Pik, please accept my apology when I tell you that if I seem like I am not paying attention. Because I am paying attention. It may not seem like it, but I am. Cool, cool. Well, like, any programming other than the very basic Excel/Visual Basic work that I do in my job to create evaluation systems for my students' work, any other actual programming is a thing that I can do between May and the end of August. The academic year is not kind. I would have to give up something else, and there's hardly anything else anymore. Because, like, you know, this pandemic's been raging, so it's like I do my streams, so it's not like I'm not having a ton of fun. But some of them are huge and green. Watching wave after wave of small fighters. The Korra and the Xert-Za. The two wings of the Urquan. And then I do yoga, and then I work. And that's like all I got right now. Vote of confidence, Debbie. No, I'm not going to attack. We want to help. What we do? Prayers are answered, baby. Mm-mm. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam. Where might they be? I already know, but... Here's another thing about taking that friggin' pill. Tells you everything. become 6 years old with all the same knowledge. What if it turns out there's no free will? Now you just gotta like watch all the same shit happen again. Except now that you're just a cog in a deterministic machine. Give me the millions of dollars, please. Beautiful, baby. I mean, yeah, it wouldn't be legally enforceable, but like, you can just write, before you go over the balcony or whatever, you can put a little note. My lousy ex-wife gets none of it. Going home. We've had a productive 21:55 so far. So, next Saturday, the agenda has got to include building some Spathia looters, because this alliance isn't going to last long. We want to go help the Zoq-Fot-Pik, find out that the Korra exist, get a little more knowledge in that regard. We want to meet Admiral Zex, get the Save the Shafixty thing going. Maybe firm up the friendship with the Pkunk. That might not be the main priority. Stopping the Pkunk from committing mass suicide is the main priority with them. And that's all about the Vooks and the Shafixty and then the Yehat. There's tons to do. And that's even before I do anything that I didn't already do last time. Alley Cat, that's a viable gimmick. I mean, that makes sense. Awesome. Thanks for coming, Bebby. Anyway, I'm wrapping up too, so you're not gonna miss anything except me turning my minerals here. Hell, if you haven't already dashed, something important. Spathy's here. Yeah, form an alliance, and we encountered a tumbling red probe, attacked that, killing past few months. More probes. Thanks, Bebby. Yeah, folks, I am an affiliate now. However, the only thing I have to offer anyone who subscribes right now is the Founder's Badge. I will make emotes soon, and I will find out other things that exist. My cousin even told me he's going to explain to me. And so, there will come a time when I got something more to offer you. But for now, yeah, I mean, clicking the button, feeling good, having my gratitude. There are things. It's not nothing. But like nobody dig into your pockets for me right now. Not that I don't appreciate anyone who does subscribe. Okay. A Spathia looter is obviously something we want. We gotta fuel up. You know what? I don't even want to make these decisions at this moment. I gotta wrap this up. Told Danielle I would be done soon, and that was during the intermission, which I believe was right around 5. So, like a gentleman, I'll make sure that soon at least doesn't turn out to mean more than an hour later. Alright, folks, here we are. Taking off into the galaxy once more in Star Control 2, and I'm very confident. I'm not very confident. I can't say with certainty that we're going to win this time, but we're going to do much better, and maybe we are going to win. And either way, we're going to have a shit ton of fun. This is a great game. Thanks to everybody tuning in to join me. I'll be taking a left turn from jetting around the galaxy to hopping into another dimension where everything's all medieval. Or not medieval, really. More like Renaissance era. We're heading back to Britannia tomorrow. In the fullness of time, my friend. So, yeah, we're heading back to Britannia tomorrow for more Ultima 6. I've got some short-term goals, but I'll tell you about them tomorrow. But I think we're going to set our sights on some targets, in addition to just continuing to explore. So that's fun, and then, other things will happen as time goes on. And that's what I got for you. So until the next time those celestial bodies align and we're all here together, take care of yourselves. And be kind, to everyone you meet.